Sports. First Bank Countdown to Kickoff, presented by News 4. It's showtime. Brought to you by Rocky Mountain Ford Dealers and Greater Denver Toyota Dealers.
Welcome, sports fans. I'm Vic Lombardi, and this is First Bank Countdown to Kickoff. I saw a bunch of people running around with eye patches and dog collars. Yeah, it must be Raider Week. Does it really get any better than Raider Week? It's so good they're making us wait an extra day. We are counting down to the Monday Nighter at Mile High, the last Monday Nighter at Mile High. Raiders come in with the best record in football, 8 wins, 1 loss. That one blemish came compliments of the Broncos 2 months ago in Oakland. Beat them in their own barn, in front of their own fans. Now they come here in front of 76,000 Bronco fans. And Bronco fans, they haven't exactly treated the Raiders with hospitality. Let us not forget, 1 year ago, Monday night, November 22nd, after the Broncos beat the Raiders in OT, things started to, well, snowball. One of those snowballs found Lincoln Kennedy, and Lincoln wasn't too happy about it. It's never pretty when a 300-pound lineman lumbers into the stands. Hopefully we won't see a reoccurrence tomorrow night. Let's go inside the numbers, shall we? Broncos are 3 games back in the win-loss department. Broncos have the better passing game, but the Raiders have the better ground game. In fact, they lead the league in that department. If you study the history between these teams, you know that 8 of the last 10 years, one team has swept the other. So the Broncos are halfway there. Let's hook up with Mark Soysher and Gary Miller. They are camping out a day early out in front of Mile High Stadium. Guys, so many storylines in this rivalry. Let's begin with the snowballs, because I know they're making an extra effort this year to clean up the snow inside that stadium.
I'll tell you, Vic, barring another snowstorm late today or tomorrow, snowballs won't be a factor. There is no snow up in the stands in Mile High Stadium. That's great. That's something we don't have to deal with. We can concentrate on football instead of snowballs, Gary, and that's a good thing.
You're right, Mark, but back in '91, we were in Buffalo for the AFC Championship game. 48 hours before the game, fans were in the parking lot tailgating. Thankfully, Denver fans have a lot more sense. There's nobody here but...
No, we've got our hibachi
Mark,
going,
yeah,
but
nobody here but us. All right, I'm going to put the pressure squarely on Terrell Davis. Mike Anderson had a huge game in Oakland, ran for 187 yards when the Broncos won out there earlier this year. He was the key to the game. If Terrell has a big game, the Broncos control the ball. I think the Broncos win. And keep in mind, Terrell normally has had trouble against the Raiders. It was 1998 before he finally got 100 yards in a game against Oakland.
Well, I'll take the pressure and put it squarely on the Broncos defense. So far this season, the most valuable player, at least in the AFC, is Rich Gannon. This guy doesn't have the most talent in the world. He doesn't have the best arm, but he's having a super year, and he's the main reason that the Raiders are 8-1. What the Broncos defense needs to do is contain him. That puts pressure on Kavika Pittman, Maatanavasa. Keep him in the pocket. Do not let him scramble and get outside and do the crazy things that Rich Gannon's been able to do this year.
It's true. And the scary thing about these Raiders is they've finally grown up. Through the years, they've always just self-destructed, come up with a big penalty. They've cost themselves games, not these Raiders. Now let's go inside the game with Bill Romanowski.
I think there was always the feeling that the Raiders had great talent, and if they ever stopped making those silly mistakes, they'd be a team to be reckoned with. That seems like that's exactly what's happened.
Absolutely, they're playing very well, and in the past, they would always seem to make mistakes at crucial times in crucial games and give up games. And you know, they're a very talented football team, and it's going to be a heck of a game Monday night. You know, Gannon, you know, he gets out of the pocket. You know, he's a running back playing quarterback, but he's got a good arm, so he can run the ball. He can, you know, he's got receivers with speed downfield. So that's a key. Another thing is the running game.
But all the fans think that when you guys play the Raiders, that's when you really see red. But we know being around you, it's the same with the Chiefs, it's the same with the Seahawks. You guys know what you have to do every week, and that is beat the team that's opposite.
Absolutely. This is a playoff game for us, and that's our approach going into this. We have to let it all hang out. And, you know, if we don't do that, we won't come up with a victory.
All right, Bill, what do we have?
Right here we have with zebra personnel, which would be three receivers, a tight end, and a running back. And what they like to do is motion empty. You know, we'll be in a basic cover 3. This will be me, John Mobley, corner being the third. This corner being the third. Ray Crockett will kind of hold off the curl here. this is one of those games where our defensive front has got to get to the quarterback.
You know, when I think back to the second half in Oakland, you shut the Raiders out. They did have a long drive, but the defense made a big play. Mobley came up with an interception. Is that about as good as the defense has played this year?
Absolutely. We had to show up, and sure enough, we did. And it seemed like on different plays, different guys showed up. Just that whole game defensively, we were all over the place. End of the game, I'm covering their tight end, and Terrell Buckley comes up and makes a pick, to put it away. So just a lot of great efforts by a lot of different people.
Broncos made the big plays in the fourth quarter in Oakland. They'll have to do it again tomorrow night if they hope to beat the Raiders again.
I think they'd like to have the big start again like they did in Oakland and not let the Raiders back into the game, and that's what's been a problem. All right, here's our schedule today on News 4, and what follows us next, you probably figure most of the Broncos will be watching. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing in San Francisco. It's a huge game that impacts the Broncos since they're tied with KC. Game time 2:05, and it follows us here on First Bank's Countdown to Kickoff. We've got more to come from Mile High, but Gary and I will both be moving into cars that are very warm.
All right, guys, you guys snuggle up and stay warm, okay? We'll talk a little later. We need a timeout, and we come back. Reggie Rivers continues to build his resume. He's coming off another perfect week with his picks. Don't ask us how. Ask Reggie. Oh. Welcome back to the studio. Reggie Rivers joins us now. Let me ask you this. Let's take us back a few years. How close did you actually become to being an Al Davis disciple?
Well, I was reasonably close. I was back in 93 or 95, actually, and I was a free agent. Thought about signing with the Raiders, but ended up coming back here to Denver, and I'm glad that I did. But now we've got to beat the Raiders. Let's take a look inside, see what the Broncos need to do to get a victory today. The first thing the Broncos need to do is goad the Raiders. The Raiders have been more disciplined in this year than they have in the past, but they still are prone to hurt themselves with penalties. Number 2, defense, win on first down. Be creative on first down to create second and long and third and long for the Raiders. And number 3, keep them under 30 points. Might sound crazy to say, hey, you can win if you keep them under 30, but I think that's going to be one of the keys today or tomorrow.
Goad the Raiders? What do you want to do, throw snowballs at them and goad them into the stands? It's not easy to goad the Raiders.
Well, I think it's easier than you think to goad the Raiders. The Raiders have historically been a team that has a lot of penalties. They're typically in the top 5 in the league, or the bottom 5. And this year they're doing a little bit better, but not that much better. I think you get a lead on them. You do things to get them frustrated. The fans certainly can help with that to get them frustrated. And I think Bill Romanowski and his trash talking, this might be one of those weeks where that comes in handy, because an angry team typically is not a well-focused team. And I think the Raiders can be goaded into some
Trust
stuff.
me, you don't have to ask Romo to trash talk. You say win the first downs, especially on defense. Take the play action out of their hands. I think that's a key.
You really do. I think the Broncos can do some things with their run blitzing where you've got a blitz called on first down, but it's a good solid gap control blitz. So if they're running the ball, you can stop that. If they're not running the ball, you got a lot of pressure coming on the quarterback. Create a lot of second and long and third and long for them so that they don't get their offense going. They get that third and long situation. They end up turning it over on downs.
Your last point, they managed to keep them under 30 points last go-around.
They sure did, and the Raiders this year, they have scored a lot of points. They've had 5 of their 8 victories. They've scored more than 30 points. The games they're under 30 points, they've all been close games. I think the Broncos can get into a track meet with the Raiders. Our offense can score a lot of points as well, but you want to make sure you keep them under that 30 points. We can probably score 33, 35 and win this thing, but if it goes to be like 38, 41, it's going to be hard to keep up with the Raiders at that.
You're too nice to be a Raider. Plus, you don't have a white jumpsuit either. We'll get your picks a little later on. Let's check out the standings in the AFC West. The Raiders have a nice fat 3-game lead over the Broncos and the Chiefs, if you look there. Seattle and San Diego, they're pretty much done for the year. That won't change. But right now, Seattle is in Jacksonville. They're all tied up 21 apiece in the fourth quarter. Here's the rest of the schedule this afternoon. Kansas City at San Francisco. You'll see that game right here on News 4. At the same time, San Diego hosting Miami, and of course, Raiders and Broncos tomorrow night. Plenty more in store on First Bank Countdown to Kickoff. We'll head back to Mile High Stadium and check in with the little big man, Ray and Trevor. They hit the mall, and I think they're in search of Raider fans or something.
Welcome back to First Bank's Countdown to Kickoff, live from Mile High Stadium, where the Broncos and the Raiders will put a close on Monday Night Football, at least for this particular stadium. Let's take a look quickly at our fast fact file for today, and it concerns Monday Night Football. Did you know the Broncos have a losing record overall on Monday Night Football? They're 19-24-1, but against the Raiders, a completely different story. They've played 10 times on Monday night. The Broncos have won 6, including last year. All right, little big men time. And this week, we sent Ray Crockett and Trevor Price shopping. They went to the mall to try and stir up a little bit of that Raider hatred. Here are the little big men.
Non-stop hip-hop, everybody finger pop from the bottom to the top will make it rock until you drop.
Hi, I'm Ray Crockett. I'm Trevor Price.
And welcome back to Little Big
And Big Man Show.
Now, I know you guys are accustomed to us giving out game balls, but we decided to do something a little bit different this week.
We're not going to give out a game ball to anybody else but ourselves.
That's right. We're giving the game ball out to the Denver Broncos.
Because we did something that Adam Scheffner, Woody Page, and a lot of other people said we could not do.
And that's get a win in the hostile territory of the New York Jets. So for that, the Denver Broncos,
This game ball's for you.
I've been riding around all week. Everybody has been coming up to me telling me, you know it's Raider week. You know it's Raider week. You know it's Raider week. So we decided
To come here to beautiful Park Meadows Mall and get the people's opinion of what Raider Week really means.
Oakland Raiders or the Denver Broncos. Now, which do you like best?
Broncos.
Broncos, okay. What do you think about the Denver Broncos?
I think they rock.
I decided to go with somebody much shorter than me, even much shorter than Ray.
He's a little big man.
He's a little big man. Now, tell me, what do you think about the Raider Week?
Actually, I have no clue what it is.
What do you think about the Oakland Raiders?
They're a little bit.
So what do you think about the rivalry?
I don't know too much about football.
What do you think about the Oakland Raiders?
They're awesome.
What is the rivalry between the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders?
I just think it's Al Davis's stupid glasses he wears. I just want you guys to go over there and smack him upside the head.
What do you think about the Oakland Raiders?
They're bad. They're bad.
They're bad? Real bad?
Yeah.
So who do you think's gonna win?
Broncos.
There you have it.
Here's somebody that I think does know a lot about this rivalry. What do you think about the rivalry between the Broncos and the Raiders?
Oh, wow. I'm just a transit passing through. I don't know. I don't follow that.
Boy, was I wrong.
And we're going all over the mall trying to find out exactly what the Oakland Raider-Denver Bronco rivalry is all about. And you know what we found out?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So maybe there's really not even a rivalry. I think the rivalry is really between Mike Shanahan and
Al Davis.
That's the rivalry. Tune in next week.
Tell you what, I'm glad they're playing the game here instead of at the Park Meadows Mall. The intensity will be a little bit higher. Plenty more ahead on First Bank's Countdown to Kickoff. Vic and Reggie are back in the studio where they will get to know a Bronco who is very well known by surgeons. We'll meet up with Mark Schlereth. Stink is next on First Bank's Countdown to Kickoff.
Breathe and drink Broncos football? Well, we understand because the Broncos play on 4. And now, thanks to United Airlines and McDonald's, you can be at the game. Win a trip and tickets to the next Denver Broncos away game. Just mail a postcard to News 4 at this address. If you win, you're flying to the game. Brought to you by McDonald's, the official airline of the Denver Broncos, United Airlines, and News 4.
As you know, First Bank Countdown to Kickoff is on the web. Just go to kcncnews4.com, click on sports, and you'll get the latest news, stats, and other information. Well, welcome back to the studio. Reggie got to know a guy off the field, a guy I consider a human biology experiment. He's like 10th grade biology when you cut into that frog. That's Mark Schlereth.
Mark Schlereth is actually the first guy in the NFL to actually have an autopsy performed on him. Well, I got to sit down and talk to him this week, and he may be a record holder of sorts for most surgeries, nearly 30 of them in his lifetime. Guard Mark Schlereth. He's been in the league for 12 years, 6 of those with the Broncos. He's pretty sure he'll retire after this season, but he's got plenty to keep him busy in the meantime.
Oh, come on, man. Coach.
You know, you've played sports your entire life, and now is this the first experience you have being a coach?
No, well, you know what? I've coached Little League. I've coached soccer for 9 years. coached now this baseball for 9. And I'm like a legitimate coach because I actually never played either of those sports. So I'm coaching them, so that makes me authentic. Stay balanced, get a hit. Great coach. Stay balanced, get a hit. It's a lot of fun to be with the kids. It's a lot of fun to be involved. Sometimes I might be a little too intense.
Brian O'Kyle, you guys, one of you got to make a call and go for it.
I don't care so much about your talent level as long as you're giving great effort. And if they don't give great effort, if they're not doing that for me, then that's when I get upset and angry.
Oh, it's out of here. Go, baby, go, 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 go. I told him he'd get one.
I was coaching soccer, never played, knew nothing about it. And had the parents all fooled. They really thought I knew what I was doing. I was looking at books and, trying to figure out how the game worked, and I pulled it off.
Obviously, everybody's heard about the surgeries that you've had. I mean, it's really...
You think that's bad? Look at that.
You got a splinter?
Paper cut.
Oh, no,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Were you going to have to go into the night?
No, I'm going to just let it heal. I think it's going to be easy. I might stitch it up myself. I used to keep a fairly good tab on it. But, especially people start asking you when it's involved football-wise. And it used to be cool until it started getting really high, and then it started working against me, Free agency. Yeah, what is it, like 30 certain? No, not 30, no, it's 18.
Couldn't be more than 29.
Yeah. So it started working against you, so now I just kind of lost track over the last few years.
Right. Any other level, college or high school or even Little League?
High school I could do. At the major college level, that's full-time work, and I'm looking for part-time work, low 7 figures, little no responsibility, and that's I'm holding out for that job.
Right into the camera in case anybody's listening.
That's the job I'm holding out for. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
It's out there somewhere. I just got to find it.
He's a classic example of mind over matter. It doesn't matter how badly his body is banged up, he can still go out and do it.
And he pretty much described your job. Time for one more break. The picks are up next, Reggie's favorite segment. But first, another look at our schedule. One game, Kansas City, San Francisco, 2:05. Welcome back to First Bank Countdown to kickoff. Fine citizens from Frederick to Florida are clamoring for a recount. They can't believe it. Neither can Gary Miller. How could Gary, our resident NFL insider, how could he plummet to last place in our weekly pick segment? He is now a full 3 games behind the usual cellar dweller, Reggie Rivers. So let's begin with Kansas City at San Francisco, guys.
Chiefs not playing as well as they were, but I think this is a day they regroup because I think they see the Broncos in the rearview mirror.
You think it's easy being this wrong, this consistently? It's not. I like Kansas City, too.
Well, I'm making all my picks this week in alphabetical order. I will take Kansas City.
Yeah. The Niners have the worst pass defense in the NFL. Elvis will have a field day. I like Kansas City as well. Jets at Indianapolis, guys.
Jets in the midst of a killer schedule. They're at Miami next week. I think somehow they find a way to win today.
You're taking the Jets?
That's correct.
I'm taking the Colts. That's all it takes.
Indianapolis is in front of New York in the alphabet. I'll take Indy.
I like that system, actually. I like the home team as well here. The Colts are angry. They lost to Chicago last week. You don't like losing to the Bears. Broncos, Raiders, the final Monday nighter at Mile High. Guys,
Everything points to it being the Broncos' time. It's time for the Raiders to lose another game.
I think it's a very tough game for the Broncos, but Mike Shanahan against the Raiders, he doesn't lose. I like the Broncos.
Hey, I like the Broncos too, enough said.
You don't have to get snippy about it. Broncos. I think we all like the Broncos in this situation. The final Monday nighter, there's no way they're going to lose the final Monday nighter at that place. But don't forget now, San Francisco, Kansas City to follow, and then we'll see you again right here at 5 o'clock. Super Sports Sunday. We've got Ray Crockett in studio tonight.
Nice.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Mark and Gary.
Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3, start out. Flag easy to throw for the air. Caught, touchdown. He scores! How about it, Denver? Touchdown, Tampa Broncos. Here we go. He's gone. And down he goes.
Live from Mile High Stadium, it's the Broncos Huddle with Mike Shanahan. Here's Tony Zarella and Dave Logan.
And welcome to Mile High Stadium, everybody. Brian Greasy and the Broncos prepping up for what they're calling An early playoff game, a similar situation to last week. No room for error, obviously, with Dave Logan. I'm Tony Zarella. Great to be with you. And on a night like tonight, the final Monday night game here at Mile High Stadium, considering the history and the tradition, I guess it's only fitting that it's these two teams banging heads.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice way to see, I think, the Monday night schedule close out here at Mile High Stadium. Two longtime rivals all the way back to 1960. Obviously, Denver has enjoyed the better of it the last few games. The Raiders come in on a huge roll. They haven't lost since they last played the Broncos.
And I mentioned on the news that in 4 of the 6 games that they've been winning, they put at least 30 on the board. So people keep waiting for the Raiders to plummet back to earth, but it hasn't happened yet.
You know what? I think a couple of things. One, we're going to see 2 of the 3 top rushing teams in the AFC. And so with Rich Gannon handing the football off, he doesn't have to rely a lot on all of the other things with Tyrone Wheatley and Nap Kaufman. Now, Wheatley's not going to play tonight, so that remains to be seen how that's going to affect the Raiders. I would think in a one-game setting, if you got Nap Kaufman more carries, if you're a Raider fan, you probably would like that. But I think the Broncos obviously will try to shut that running game down and force Rich Gannon to throw the ball a lot.
If the Broncos win this game, I mean, the Raiders are 8-1. They win tonight, they pretty much lock up their first division title in 10 years. If the Broncos beat them again, do you put them right back in the race?
Oh, I think so, based on what's happened the last couple of weeks. Denver goes to New York, beats the Jets. The Jets lose this weekend on the road. You look at what happened to Kansas City yesterday in San Francisco. And so a couple of the teams that have been ahead of the Broncos in the wild card race have kind of come back to the pack a little bit. Now, if you add a Bronco victory tonight and obviously a Raider loss, that puts them 2 games behind Oakland. They would own the tiebreaker, and Oakland still with some tough games to go.
Yeah.
So I think it puts them back in it.
Go down to New Orleans next week, so a lot could happen. Well, Dave mentioned the dominance. The Broncos, of course, have taken 6 straight in 10 of the last 11. Quite a difference from how it used to be when the Raiders and the Broncos would square off.
The Broncos have owned the Oakland Raiders the past 5 years under Mike Shanahan. They're 1-0 this season. And even though Denver went 6-10 last year, they still swept the Raiders. First in Oakland after Brian Griese took the place of injured quarterback Bubby Brister, who was supposed to start for the first time in '99. Then later in the season on Monday Night Football, just before all HE-double Oakland broke loose in the East Stands. Everyone knows that Al Davis owes his former head coach Mike Shanahan some Benjamins. Maybe that's one of the reasons the Broncos have beat the Raiders 10 of their last 11 meetings and 5 straight at Mile High Stadium. But Shanahan is concerned.
Well, just remember, they've got a lot of pride, and it's reflected through their record. And I know they're probably embarrassed we ran the ball like we did, and they're going to be ready to play us. Our football team understands that as well. So we're going to get their best shot.
Dave, no doubt about that, which brings me to Brian Griese. If they stack the line like the Jets did to try to take Terrell out of it, you look for big numbers from Brian Griese tonight?
Well, really, he's been able to put big numbers up on virtually every opponent this year, and I think Brian Griese is one of the keys, obviously, to this offense. And I think more so than his throwing, it's his decision-making. He's only, I mean, he's a guy that's not thrown many interceptions. I think 2, or is it 3 on the season now? I've kind of brain-locked, but he does not throw the ball to the wrong team very many times.
Yeah, it could be looking at 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks tonight. On the other side, it's Rich Gannon, one of these guys who just happens to be getting better with age. He's 34 years old, and the last couple of years he's really come into his own in kind of an unorthodox style.
You know, I think Rich Gannon is an amazing story, and a guy that if you look at prototypically doesn't fit the mold of an NFL quarterback. He's not big enough, doesn't have a good enough arm, and yet he makes plays like this. He'll scramble around, buy himself some time until a receiver can get into the open area and then make the throws. But I mean, there are a lot of people around the league that think Rich Gannon right now is the MVP in the National Football League.
Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight, and we see him on the field now as they're just about 35 minutes away from kicking this ball off. And obviously, the last couple of years, the Raiders have not had a lot of fun playing against the Broncos defense. And the Broncos defense put them on the board very quickly, you remember, back in week 3, Dave. They were up 17-0.
Yeah, they had a couple of turnovers early. Matter of fact, I think the 2 first snaps the Raiders had, they fumbled both. Wheatley fumbled one, and Gannon fumbled one, and before you know it, the Broncos were hit 17-0. Now, the Raiders were able to dig themselves out of that hole, but when you get behind like that in a big game, like with these 2 teams, it's really very tough.
Last week, did you get the sense for the first time in about a year that you were really seeing the Terrell Davis that you remember from a year ago?
Yeah, I really did. I thought Terrell really had an excellent game, and I thought he looked like he was fresh. His legs had that extra step. He had a lot more explosion in the hole, and 115 yards rushing. And I think Terrell has got to get through this year, hopefully without any further injuries, and then next year you'll see the Terrell of old. But I thought last week was as close as we've seen to Terrell since the injury.
And he has not had his best days against the Raiders. He's gone over 100 against the Raiders, but it's not one of the teams he has simply run over in the past. And he knew, and he told us the other day, it's going to be one of these games he's going to take a lot of hits. He knows that going in.
Well, it's a very tough physical game, and always is when Denver and Oakland get together. Both teams, as we've said, can run the football. Two of the top three leading rushing teams in the AFC. So it may come down to teams stacking the line of scrimmage and one of those quarterbacks making some big plays.
Brian Greasy looking for Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey. These guys are all closing in on one record or another. Are you ever surprised at this point, more past the midway point of the season, what these two guys have done?
Well, I'm not, but I've got a real appreciation for wide receiver play. And, you know, both those guys have made big catches. Both those guys do an excellent job downfield, and I think both are very, very physical receivers. And so you can get matched up and say, okay, I've got the edge of speed and quickness with that guy right there, but he's stronger than most defensive backs. He's quicker than he looks, and he's got enough speed he can run by you. So that's a tough trifecta.
You know, the Raiders have a pretty good guy, too, and it's no longer just the Tim Brown show, and because of that, he really has looked fabulous the last couple of years.
Yeah, Tim Brown has had an excellent career, and a guy obviously that's in the top 10 in virtually every statistical category in the National Football League, and he just continues to make big plays. He is the guy that Rich Gannon looks to in tough times, and Broncos know that. They'll do their best to take him out, but Brown has been very tough on this Denver team over the years.
All right, well, we'll see what happens tonight. We're just getting warmed up here on the Huddle. When we come back, we're going to start talking about defense and hear much more from the Broncos when the Broncos Huddle from Mile High Stadium continues. Stay with us.
Coming up on the Broncos Huddle, we'll hear from head coach Mike Shanahan when we return to Mile High Stadium.
Really not sure what they're going to do. If they're going to pile 8 or 9 guys in the line of scrimmage or play with a 7-man front.
Can't argue with that. An orange moon. Now, whether or not people, when it's 16 degrees here in the second half, feel warm.
Too cold to argue.
Hey, Dave, you look at this matchup, and 1973, the first Monday night game here was the Broncos and Raiders, and I don't know if people can hear the crowd behind us, but you know who was on the field at this point because they were booing loudly. But you look at the job that John Gruden has done, and is this the first time really in a long time that you would say the Raiders are for real?
Well, I mean, I think they've got an excellent football team, and I think the thing that stands out a little bit more so with this Raider team than others is their discipline. They're not taking as many stupid penalties. They're not taking the personal foul penalties. Now, we'll probably see an extraordinarily high amount tonight here in this game, but they've been able to do things that good teams have to do, and over the years, if you think of the Raiders, you think of them as just doing dumb things at dumb times, especially when it comes to playing the Broncos. So far this year, John Gruden, I'm sure, is very happy with that.
Broncos defense, as we mentioned in the first segment, jumped on them early in the game. Both defenses have had their moments. Both defenses, in some ways, have struggled. But last week, I thought the Broncos defense set the tone early in this game.
You know, I thought they were much more active last week. Now, on the season, they're giving up 5.1 yards per rush, and that's way too many. They've got to get that number down. Raiders giving up 3.9, and it's been tough to run, a little tougher to run against the Raiders than the Broncos. But Denver has been able to defensively make big plays at big times. Now, that is, I think, kind of the balance between not having a great statistical defense and yet having a defense that's going to help you get to the playoffs, and the Bronco defense has made a number of big plays.
You know, it's been 12 years since Mike Shanahan left the Oakland Raiders, was only with them, of course, for a couple of seasons. I sat down with Mike the other day, and, you know, it's still obvious, even a dozen years later, there's one team in the NFL he still loves to beat.
All these years later, Mike, do you still get just a little more charged up when you beat these guys?
Well, it's always a physical football game, and we've had some great games through the years. When I first came in here in the middle 80s, we had dropped a number of games, and we won a few, and then the Raiders got a little roll. But it's always been a special game to me because it's been very physical. Two football teams that have been, you know, very good through the years, and yeah, I think you'd always get a little excited playing this football team.
And you're deflecting from yourself because obviously people love to bring up the fact of your history with them, but you have you pretty much put that in the past?
No, I don't think you ever do. You know, I think you never want to concentrate on what you've done before because we know how important this game is, and what we've done in the past really doesn't matter. It's what you're doing now, and our football team is well aware how important this game is for us and what we got to do to get it done.
Is there any way to explain how teams can get another team's number and you've taken 10 out of 11 from them, including 6 straight, and you see it in other sports and in different levels of sports, that seems to happen? Is it a mind thing?
I'm not really sure. It seems to go in cycles, but the main thing you have to do to me is not worry about what you've done in the past, because that can be erased very quickly. In the game tonight, them finding a way to win would erase everything we've done in the past. They'd be talking about new tradition. I think our football team is smart enough to know that that can change very quickly and where the focus has to be.
If you win this game tonight, I know you keep things one game at a time. I know you don't look at a bigger picture than that. You take it 1 week at a time, but do you think a win tonight could change the complexion of what's happening within the division? They go down to New Orleans next week, which will be another tough game, and you guys could get on a run here and start changing things.
Well, this happens every year. Everybody talks about this during the middle of the season. Like I've said, I've seen teams go 8-1, now make the playoffs, 8-2. Obviously, we played the Raiders here when they were 8-2. They didn't make the playoffs that year. So there's a lot of possibilities. Teams started out 0-5. Can you imagine that? All of a sudden, winning the AFC, being 11-5. Those are things that have happened in the past. And if you start thinking that you're playoff bound in the middle of the season without playing each game one at a time and playing at a certain level, the chances are you're not going to get there. Our football team knows that we can't stub our toes. This is a playoff-type game for us because we have made some mistakes, and we've got to put it all together tonight.
What makes Rich Gannon dangerous? He's one of these guys like Vinny and Doug Flutie that's really come on later in his career and seems to be playing his best football the last couple of years.
Well, the first thing you have to do is have balance, which they do. Their running game right now is ranked #1 in the NFL. They've been very consistent. And when he has thrown the ball, he's been able to make plays. If guys have been open, he's got great scrambling ability to dink and dunk, and at the same time make plays on his own. So that's enabled them to be 8-1.
Final Monday night game at Mile High. While you're going through it, do you get caught up in that at all, or do you think it's something you'll look back on later?
No, I think it's extra special. Last Monday night game and a lot of history here, and being here for as many years as I've been a part of it, yeah, it is extra special. I think the fans will be into it. I know our football team is looking forward to it.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, Mike Shanahan. Dave, how do you see this game playing out with the weather? The second half's going to be about 15 degrees. How will that affect these teams?
Well, obviously, the Broncos are used to it much more so than the Raiders. I think, again, with both teams being able to run the football and thus both defenses concentrating on the run, I think both teams will be patient initially and try to pound the running game and find out if they're going to get that thing going. But I think the game may very well come down to which quarterback and maybe sets of receivers make the biggest plays. A couple of key turnovers, and Denver, I think, is first in the AFC in turnover ratio. The Raiders are second. And that's in the NFL. So I think this is a game that a key turnover, but the quarterbacks down the stretch may very well decide who wins.
I know you got to go up to the radio booth. Before you go, what would your favorite Monday night memory be here at this place?
Oh, man. There's so many great Monday night games. The Green Bay win back in '84, it was a complete and total blizzard, 17-0. They came back, and Broncos obviously held on. But I've seen a lot of really great games here, and certainly some interesting Monday night games, too.
Well, hopefully this will be one of them. Have fun tonight on the radio.
Hey, thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Dave Logan. We'll be back on the huddle right after this break. Stay with us.
Coming up on the Broncos Huddle, we'll hear from running back Terrell Davis when we return to Mile High Stadium.
Next the other day, like, well, you look at OTV. I was like, OTV? I said, I'm just a healthy team.
There's a little bit of the old Terrell Davis. When Terrell sees the film of this game, he's going to like what he sees thus far.
And closing in on kickoff here, the Broncos and the Raiders. Of course, the final Monday night game here at Mile High Stadium. It's a little frigid out, but any Bronco fan will tell you, who cares? The Broncos and the Raiders only fitting. It's these two teams once again banging heads here tonight. We look at Terrell Davis, and you look at what he did against the New York Jets last week at the Meadowlands, and the way, not just picking up a $115. I mean, Terrell Davis, 33 carries, a $115. I think the longest run was 13 yards, but the way he was hitting the holes brought back memories, and he'll be the first to correct you and tell you it's not the old Terrell, it's finally a healthy Terrell, which obviously gives the Broncos the look they've been needing.
During the bye week, it looked like, oh, these guys are in trouble, even though you were 500, the way teams were playing. Well, now, the way this is going to, you guys can control somewhat where you end up.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it, the week before the Cincinnati game, I tried to tell somebody. They were like, "Well, you guys will go to the bye, you'll be 5-3," and I was like, "Wait a minute, you can't give us this game yet." And
really? You really thought there was even a 10% chance? I think the people were just stunned by that loss.
You know, but it happens. It happens, and that's what happens when you count another team out and you really don't give them a chance. And you have a team that's already looking forward to the bye. I mean, that can happen in that situation.
Well, did you feel in New York that for the first time in a long time that you were back, that you were hitting the holes the way that you know how you can hit them, and spinning, and just, you know, even though you didn't break off a 50-yarder, you had some runs there that brought back some memories for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I just felt natural. I felt natural out there, and that was the most important thing, was to go out there and feel like I was healthy. And, you know, someone mentioned the other day, was like, "Well, you look OTD." I was like, "Old TD?" I said, "I'm just a healthy TD. I mean, you know, I'm always going to be Terrell. I don't care what you say and what you do, but obviously if I'm not healthy, I can't do the things that I did in the past."
Now, do you expect the Raiders to do what the Jets did? The Jets kind of altered their defense and came up to guard against you, basically. Yeah. And after what Mike Anderson did against them back in Week 3, do you think that?
I get that sense.
Just put a bullseye on you right now?
I think so. I think it's going to be another hard-hitting game. But it's one of those games that I've been through it in the past, you know, the years that I've been here. So it's not like I'm not used to it. So the only thing I have to do is go out there and do my job and just prepare for a tough game, and, you know, hopefully we can run the ball.
And you say you like that. You like to grind it out. You like a lot of carries. You know?
Sometimes. I mean, I do like tough games. But, you know, you want some games to where you can get some room and run, too. You don't want every game to be tough. I don't mind tough games. I really don't.
Do you feel at this point the Broncos may be in their heads a little bit? The guys on the Raiders who have been around a while and have lost 6 straight to the Broncos, 10 out of 11. Do you think as athletes they ever get to the point where you start second-guessing whether you can win the game?
I think sometimes. But I also think when it's a different year, it also brings back a different type of, you know, attitude. Just like the years when I think we lost to Kansas City, and you know, we used to go there and we could never win, and we had to go back in the playoffs to play them at their own place, and we had to get it done. So I think it's all about the people that you have on your team, and really, I don't think they're really concerned about the 10 out of 11 losses. I don't think they're really concerned about that. They know they have a great team this year. They're 8-1, and they have a chance to do some great things. So coming up here is a big opportunity for them to really step out from the old Raiders team and show what this new Raiders team is all about. You know, again, we have to face this game, approach this game as if it's a playoff game. And I know we've been saying that around this camp, but it's true. I mean, we lose this game, we're 5-5, and you know, it doesn't look too good at that point in time. So I think 6-4 is a much better record to have. At least you know your options are open at that point in time, and you still have a chance.
All right, Terrell Davis, it's going to be interesting to see what the Raiders defense is going to do. Now, this is a defense that not that long ago gave up over 500 yards passing to Elvis Grbac. You know, if they stack the line to try to shut down Terrell, put 8 in the box, so to speak, this could be a huge night for Brian Griese. If they don't, it could be a big night for Terrell Davis, considering Mike Anderson ran for $187 against him back in Week 3. More from Mile High Stadium as the Broncos come out behind me onto the field when the Broncos huddle continues. Stay with us.
We'll get some parting thoughts when the Broncos huddle continues.
What an experience to be on that field and experience some of those great games that you know, I was able to experience in the mid-'80s.
Ryder running to his left. Denver recovers the fumble.
Early 90s.
Runs up out of the pocket, lets the pass go. It's caught. The kick is good.
Obviously, over the last 5 years.
Over 2,000 yards. 63 yards.
Broncos have done it again. Second straight year they are AFC champions.
I don't think you can just say one thing, because it's been, you know, a lifetime of great experiences.
There's only one way you win championships, and that's with great defense. Congratulations.
Down through the years, the image of the Raider franchise has been half football team, half street gang.
Being a Raider, you're going to always be hated.
Players had nicknames right out of Folsom: Snake and the Mad Bomber, Dr. Death, the Molester, and Assassin, the Mad Stork, Big Ben, and Ghost.
As soon as I got here, they let me know about all the old Raiders. It was just pretty much beat into me.
Since 1960, they've moved around like a bail jumper chased by a bounty hunter, battling opponents in the courts and on the field. There were 3 Super Bowl wins in an 8-year span, but then a commitment to excellence dissolved into a morass of mediocrity with no playoff appearances since 1993.
Well, the last 8 years have been difficult simply because we've been a very inconsistent football team.
This season, the magic has returned. Now there are no snakes or mad storks, but a business-like group with 6 straight wins.
It'd be hard to ever compare this team to some of those old Raider teams.
We're trying to create our own identity, our own personality.
Some of the old Raider DNA remains. They're fighting their hometown in court. Their coach is a throwback in choir boys clothing, and their animus with the Denver Broncos is still intense.
This is a personal challenge for me because since I've been here, we've not been able to beat Denver. And for us to move forward as a football team, we've got to beat the Denver Broncos. This is going to be a great test for us tonight.
Tonight, the Raiders try to prove they're all the way back, and the Broncos try to keep their division title hopes alive when Oakland comes into Denver on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Are you ready for some football? Hear the crash of thunder and a lightning strike. The storm in the field, sparks will fly tonight. We're charged and ready. The crowd goes berserk. It's a wake-up call. Time to go to work. You better get ready. It's going to get rough. Because Monday Night Football is powerful stuff. Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? Yes, sir. The countdown to the kickoff has officially started. There's no neutral corner in this heavyweight fight. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night.
It is clear and cold in the Rockies Mile High Stadium, as usual, sold out, as the Denver Broncos come out onto the field. The renewal of a great rivalry, the Raiders and the Broncos. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Denver. This is year 31 for Monday Night Football, and I have to tell you, some of the most memorable games in the history of this package have been played here. This will be the final Monday night game at Mile High Stadium because next season the Broncos move into their brand new digs across the parking lot. And what a perfect way to end it as Oakland and Denver meet for the 11th time on a Monday night. Oakland comes in with the league's best record, 8-1. That won a loss to Denver on September 17th when the Broncos won it 33-24. And the Broncos come in with a mark of 5-4 with a season-saving win last week against the Jets. Oakland and Denver on Monday night. It doesn't get much better.
Spanish commentary for tonight's game can be heard using the SAP feature on your TV where available, presented by Lexus.
Well, Dan Fouts, the Raiders may have the best record in the NFL, 8-1, but the Denver Broncos are a 3-point favorite. So the Raiders are underdogs. What do they have to do to win?
I think 3 factors for the Raiders tonight to win: depth, turnovers, and how they handle Mile High Stadium. Sebastian Janikowski will not kick tonight. Tyrone Wheatley will not run tonight. So a trio of running backs will take over for Wheatley and a pair of kickers for Janikowski. Now, turnovers, the Raiders have been great this year, the fewest number of turnovers in the league. But in their loss to the Raiders earlier this year, they turned the ball over, rather to the Broncos, they turned it over 4 times, something they've done way too many times in this series. Now, this is the toughest venue in the NFL to play, Mile High Stadium. It's going to get cold as the night goes on. The Raiders have got to protect the ball if they got any chance of winning this game.
Raider coach who's done such a magnificent job, John Gruden, is the youngest coach in the league. Melissa Stark, tell us more about John.
Well, he's been the youngest head coach in the NFL for 3 years now, ever since he took over the Raiders at the age of 34. He's also one of the most animated. Just watch him on the sidelines tonight. Some of his teammates have nicknamed him Jumper Cables because he fires them up so much. They also say you can't help but play your heart out for him. Well, the Raiders may be 8-1 under Gruden, but since he's been there, he has yet to beat the Broncos. Al, he calls it unfinished business. He's trying to end the Broncos' hold tonight.
Well, Melissa, one way they'll have to do their business tonight is in temperatures that right now are 20 degrees. Eric Dickerson, what's it like to play when it's 20?
Well, Al, I'll tell you, it's very cold right now. The weather could be a big factor in this football game. For football players, the most important thing is the field condition. And this field is in very good shape. The field has been covered up for the last 2 weeks. I don't think you'll see the players lose their footing at all. But if this was AstroTurf, this would be more like concrete. Now, I talked to some of the players, and they told me, Eric, I'm very glad we're playing on grass tonight.
Dennis Miller, welcome to the Mile High City. What do you think?
Well, you know, Al, the Raiders like to think of themselves as the team of the decades. But they really had a Rosemary Woods-like disconnect during the 90s when they went 82-78, a scant 4 games over 500 for a 10-year period. Simply put, the Raiders played like they were wearing the patch on the good eye. And a lot of those whoopings were laid on them by the Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan 10-1 against the Raiders since he left the conclave. Shanny beats on Al Davis like Buddy Rich on a snare drum when he knew Gene Krupa was standing in the back of the room. And unless Gruden and his boys get off the schneid tonight against the Broncos, they might have to change that team motto to just spin, baby. It's cold, Albino. Hold me.
If I do, it's an automatic first down. It's Monday night in Denver, and the Raiders come into town with John Gruden, Rich Gannon, and company against the Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis healthy again. Oakland and Denver from Mile High.
Presentation of the National Football League.
Rock it down. Colorado's state capitol right there on a sparkling night. Snowed here on Saturday, but beautiful yesterday, clear and cold tonight, as we say. 20 degrees is Mike Shanahan. In 1988 and part of 89, the head coach of the then Los Angeles Raiders. Now in his 6th season here, he's won 2 Super Bowls. His team to kick off, that's his Jason Elam. To put it in the air, David Dunn and Calvin Branch back to receive. Line drive kick, David Dunn fields at the 5. And a good opening run back for the Raiders as Dunn takes it up to the 36, and we'll meet the Oakland backs and receivers.
Rich Gannon, quarterback, University of Delaware.
Napoleon Kaufman, running back, University of Washington.
John Ritchie, fullback, Stanford.
Tim Brown, wide receiver, Notre Dame.
James Jett, wide receiver, West Virginia.
Ricky Dudley, tight end, B, Ohio State University.
Raiders coming off a 49-point game against Kansas City last week. They defeated the Chiefs, their other arch rival, twice this year.
Starting right about where they usually start out, 34.5 yards.
And this is Tim Brown on an end around, picking up 3 up to the 38-yard line. Here is the interior line for Oakland.
Barry Sims, left tackle, University of Utah.
Lincoln Kennedy, offensive tackle, University of Washington.
Steve Wisniewski, offensive guard, Penn State University.
Mo Collins, right guard, University of Florida.
Barrett Robbins, center, TCU.
Robbins having a very good year. In fact, John Gruden telling us last night he should be considered for the Pro Bowl. They line up Ricky Dudley in the backfield alongside Jordan. And Gannon to throw on second down and throws it behind Brown. Brown was free at the 50. He throws it behind him. Let's meet the Bronco line and linebackers.
Tanuvasa, defensive end, University of Hawaii.
Keith Trail, defensive tackle, Central Oklahoma. Kavika Pittman, defensive end, McNeese State University.
Trevor Price, defensive tackle, Clemson.
John Mobley, outside linebacker, Kutztown University.
Bill Romanowski, I'm an outside linebacker. I went to Boston College.
Al Wilson, linebacker, Tennessee.
Third down at the 37-yard line. Third down and 7. With Gannon under pressure, flag is thrown, no play. A whistle before the snap. Larry Nemmers is the referee. First flag of the night.
Prior to the snap, ball start offense number 65. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Barry Sims. Let's meet the Denver secondary now.
Ray Crockett, the cornerback, Baylor University.
Terrell Buckley, defensive back, Florida State.
Billy Jenkins, strong safety, Howard University.
Eric Brown, free safety, Mississippi State.
After the 5-yard penalty.
T-Buck having a great year so far. He's got 5 scepters.
And we have Buckley mic'd up to the hand on 3rd down and 13. Gannon chased and then throws, and it is picked off at the 39-yard line. Ray Crockett. Gannon almost looked as if he was attempting to throw it away, and the next thing you know, here comes Crockett for the interception.
A terrible start for the Raiders coming out. Gruden said that we could not turn the ball over. What do they do on the first series? They're offsides, bringing up a 3rd and long. Romanowski gets the pressure on Gannon. That maybe caused that ball to not get thrown out of bounds, and Crockett's there for the interception. 3 interceptions now by the Broncos off of Rich Gannon in a game and just 1 series.
Like the Bronco fans weren't into the game enough last Monday night game ever in Mile High. Now they're really into it.
From the 39-yard line, Greasy on a tight roll hits the wide open tight end, Dave Carswell, inside the 20, out of bounds at the 16-yard line, and Rod Smith threw the key block on that play.
Boy, did he ever. He just laid out Charles Woodson. Great play fake by Greasy. This is one of his strengths. Along with Peyton Manning, the 2 of them are the best in the NFL with the play-action pass. Greasy on the roll, got the ball to his big tight end, Carswell, just in time. You see the fake to Davis, and then watch this block on the outside. Ooh, right there as Smith lays out Woodson.
A lot of the boys are talking at each other already.
From the 16, here is Terrell Davis, who got back into the groove last week with 115 yards against the New York Jets.
You know, more importantly than the 115 yards, Al, they had to love seeing him carry 33 times. Worrying about the injuries he's had, he showed a lot of durability last week.
Well, Davis, as you know, had reconstructive knee surgery last season. Then he did not play in 5 of their first 8 games. He carried the ball only 24 times prior to last week.
Mike Anderson did a nice job for him while he was away.
2nd and 11 from the 17-yard line. Greasy, good protection, throws, and it's low, intended for Terrell Davis. Davis over the middle. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
Let's go back and take a look at this great first play for the Broncos. Look at the fake. It just takes the Raiders out of it. Greasy heads up to get the ball to Carswell. Now watch this block by Rod Smith on Charles Woodson. Upshaw down the field to push Carswell out of bounds. A great start for the Broncos. Get the turnover, then the first play inside the red zone.
Rod Smith's having an incredible year. Great block there. We'll tell you about his receiving in a little bit here.
3rd and 11 with an empty backfield and 5 receivers in this set. Raiders show blitz. Greasy protected well underneath to the 7-yard line. He hits Byron Chamberlain, and Chamberlain fighting for a 1st down, and we'll see where they mark the forward progress.
Well, Carswell and Chamberlain, the amalgamation of the 2, showing us something akin to Shannon Sharpe here in the first series.
Yeah, it looked like Carswell had the 1st down with the catch. And then as he was struggling for extra yards, he may have given it back up. Be close enough to bring out a measurement from our amp cam. Greasy with a lot of time to throw. Directing traffic. He's got his big tight end there. Byron Chamberlain. Good to have him back in the lineup for the Broncos. He's been hurt. Working between the linebackers in that zone of the Raiders.
It's close, and it's not enough. Wow. Larry Nemmers is saying not enough. Shanahan indicates that he's going to go for it.
Broncos have been having real good success on 4th down situations, 5 out of 10. And now they've got their home run hitter back in the lineup, Terrell Davis. Why not go for it?
Looked like they were short by a scant 388 votes there, Albino.
They're recounting. But they'll proceed. It's the 5 o'clock deadline. Clock is wound. 4th down, and you might say a singular inch. McCaffrey is the man in motion. They give it to Davis. He has it. To the 5-yard line. Howard Griffith, as he she does so often, the fullback leading the way.
Davis looks like he's running downhill on those.
He just has such a great relationship with his fullback. 29 is Griffith. Watch him lead. Right side of the screen. He takes out the strong safety there, Marquez Pope. And you notice at the end of this run, Terrell Davis lowers his head. He knows he just needs a couple of inches to get that first down.
First and goal from the 5. Denver trying to capitalize on the Raider turnover. Here is Davis. Touchdown, Denver.
Wow. I wish I knew the nomenclature play definition. I don't. Dan will explain that to me. It looked beautiful. I don't know exactly what they did, though.
What they did is they brought the flanker, Rod Smith, in motion, faked the reverse, that took away the force by the Raiders there. They were unsure of whether it was going to be a reverse or a hand to Davis. Beautiful play call by Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan.
Jason Elam for the point after, and that is good. And so for the 5th time in 10 games this season, on an opening drive, the Broncos score a touchdown off the Ray Crockett interception, 7-0. Monday Night Football from Denver being brought to you by Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. United Airlines, helping people stay united. And Nissan, driven. The Raiders this season have turned the ball over only 10 times in this their 10th game, but 5 of those turnovers against Denver. 4 in Oakland, 1 tonight, 7-0 Broncos. Elam's second kickoff of the night, taken at the 8-yard line by David Dunn. He's done a nice job running back kicks. Flag comes in as Dunn brings it back to the 25-yard line, and Oakland figures to be pushed back even farther, and they will be.
Not only has he done a nice job returning kicks out, Gruden told us he's in on a lot of tackles, said he's the centerpiece of their special teams this year so far.
One of those guys who has bounced around but has found a home.
During the return, holding, number 50, 10-yard penalty, first down, Oakland.
Eric Barton. Back we go to Davis's touchdown run.
And the key here is right here. Watch Rod Smith come on the reverse here, and watch how it affects the force at the point of attack here. Look how they're standing up. Davis walks into the end zone. Well-designed play and perfect execution. Tom Nalen doesn't even have anybody to block.
And Shanahan has turned play calling over to Kubiak this year, right, Dano?
Yeah, Dennis, and it's working very well.
Gary Kubiak, longtime backup quarterback, now the offensive coordinator. And this is Napoleon Kaufman. Well, this is a scenario we've seen a lot before. Not only has Shanahan had the Raiders number 6 straight, 10 of 11, but the Broncos very often get off to early leads against the Raiders, forcing Oakland to play catch-up. And there it is, as you can see, in their last 6 games, in every instance, Denver has had the lead.
And now they're faced with a long field, and you don't want a long field when you're a mile high. Very hard to get all the way down the field on a long drive when you're a visiting team.
Wow, that was a Rod Serling graphic.
Second down and 9 from the 15-yard line. Gannon sidearms it to Brown, and Brown is up to the 21. He's shy of the first by 3. Al Wilson makes the hit, 3rd down and 3.
Tim Brown just keeps rolling along. Heisman Trophy winner out of Notre Dame a long time ago. He makes a tough catch over the middle, but he still has the ability to break tackles and make the big play for the Raiders. Gannon with another ad-lib throw. Nobody throws a sidearm pass better than Rich Gannon.
Last week, Timmy Brown became only 11th man in league history to go over 16,000 total yards.
3rd down and 3 from the 21-yard line. Gannon throwing nowhere, nobody even close. Ricky Dudley was in the neighborhood, but that neighborhood was Aurora. 4th down.
Beautiful, Bino. I love that. Huh? You make me chuckle, young man. You make me chuckle.
No guffaws, though. 4th down. So the Raiders have begun with an interception and a 3-and-out. And Shane Leckler, who's done a fine job. He's a rookie from Texas A&M. He also served as their place kicker, with Janikowski unable to play last week. But this is A wobbly kick. Takes a big Raider bounce. Delta O'Neal, Denver's #1 draft choice, runs it back from the 25 to the 35, and that's where Denver will start its next drive. David Dunn made that tackle. 9:44 left in the first. 7-0 home team. Next week, we go to St. Louis. The Rams coming off that big one yesterday against the Redskins. Our information, Jeff George will start for the Redskins. Brad Johnson will not be ready. Marshall Faulk was talking yesterday as if he could possibly play on Monday night, and that would help because Troncanidate, the rookie, a broken wrist. They put him on IR today. He's out for the season. Washington, St. Louis, great matchup next week on Monday night.
You can't tell who's playing for St. Louis. They're all blurred anyway.
From the 36, Greasy on first down, avoids the sack, and then throws it away. So the Raiders had a chance to have Denver with a second and about 22, and Greasy's able to sling it to the sideline.
You know, in 9 games, the Raiders have only got 18 sacks. That's not like the Raiders. They're usually among the leaders in the league. This is part of the problem. This offensive line of the Broncos is awful good. They've given Greasy a lot of time, but you got to give the quarterback a lot of credit on this play. Getting away from one and then keeping his head down the field, throwing it out of bounds.
2nd and 10 from the 36. Greasy rolling, and then he's tackled out of bounds by Elijah Alexander. Let's meet the Denver backs and receivers.
Hi, I'm Brian Greasy, quarterback, University of Michigan.
Terrell Davis, running back, University of Georgia. Howard Griffith, fullback from the University of Illinois.
Ed McCaffrey, wide receiver, Stanford.
Brian Smith, wide receiver, Missouri Southern State Lions.
Dwayne Carswell, tight end, Liberty University.
You know, Al, you were talking earlier about the Bronx coming out of the box 83-0 in the last 6 games against the Raiders. I think that's a testimony to Kubiak and Shanahan's play scripting.
Well, Mike noted as one of the coaches who does script the first 15 plays and with a lot of success against Oakland and a few other teams. This is Smith making the catch at the 41, fighting forward, trying to pick up the first down, and is a little short. Anthony Dorsett and Greg Biekert in on the hit, and they stop him a yard shy.
I don't like the way Brian Greasy's coming off the field. He looks like he's hurt after that tackle. Check out this effort by Rod Smith. It's about 8 yards short when he makes the catch. Now watch the tackle by Biekert right there, 54. That cleaned him up. That kept him from getting the first down. But I would take a close look at Brian Greasy on the sideline after that tackle. Remember, he's got a bad shoulder.
And they are right now, clearly, as his helmet off, sitting on the bench. They're looking at him as Tom Ruin's kick bounces at the 20 and then takes a Raider bounce and is down at the 24-yard line. Another look at the hit incurred by Greasy, leading to his wobbliness coming off the field. We'll check him out when we come back. Of Aspen. Malibu Kelly Hayes telling me plenty of snow.
That was Malibu Kelly Hayes. Could be Aspen Kelly Hayes.
Wow. Like, you know, I see footage like that. Wow.
Well, Brian Greasy, we showed you that he was shaken up. He's coming off. Gus Farad is the backup quarterback. As Oakland from the 24-yard line. Dudley, and is snowed out perfectly by Keith Traylor. Trick play, not to Traylor, though. Let's check in with Melissa.
Al, you just saw Brian Greasy leave the field. He had come over to the sidelines. The trainers were obviously very concerned all around him. He kept pointing to his right shoulder. Looked like he was in a ton of pain. And obviously we will update you as to the situation as soon as we can.
Well, Greasy had shoulder surgery in the offseason. There is the hit by Alexander as Greasy was trying to get out of bounds. That last sack was a 7-yard sack at 2nd and 17 from the 17-yard line. Gannon, a sidearm underneath toss to Randy Jordan, who turns the corner, and flags come in from everywhere as Jordan is bumped out of the 31.
Ricky Dudley just clipped Jimmy Spencer dead in the back. Illegally blocked, whatever you want to call it, but Ricky Dudley, he's got to know you can't block somebody like this.
Illegal block in the back on the offense during the run, number 83. 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
Still second down.
Somebody on the sideline, one of the civilians got clocked, too.
You know, so the Raiders try a couple of trick plays tonight, a couple of reverses. There's the block in the back by Dudley on Spencer. But they're just going backwards tonight. This is absolutely the worst type of start you can imagine, playing against a team you have made the same type of mistakes over and over for the last 5 years against.
Dudley just turned what would have been a 3rd down and 2 into a 2nd down and 19. Gannon. Oh, and was possession? Yes, he did have possession. It's a fumble at the 13-yard line. George Coghill put the hit on the receiver, but Oakland recovers. Randy Jordan took a monster hit. Had possession, but Oakland retains possession.
Gannon's going to give him the ball, but what Gannon doesn't see is what's out in front of Jordan. Here's Cogdill right there. Helmet perfectly hit on the ball. Jordan had no chance. Caught the ball, turned around, got drilled. The Raiders lucky to recover.
Lincoln Kennedy recovers it. The tackle.
He dropped a house on him.
3rd and 21 from the 13-yard line.
Flag.
And a flag before they can take the timeout.
5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Before they can take the timeout, that's another 5, making it 3rd and 26. Well, Dan, you've been down in the closed end of Mile High Stadium very often in your career. That ain't a lot of fun.
No, it's not. And it's really not a whole lot of fun when it's 3rd and 26. You don't have plays in the playbook that are designed. You can just go back and throw the ball up and hope somebody catches it.
Let's call the timeout.
Well, the only thing Gannon has going for him on 3rd and 26 is this guy throws the ball to so many different receivers each week. You never know which way he's going exactly. He's hitting 7, 8, 9 different guys a game. So he does spread it around.
And the Broncos will give him a nice soft zone here. He's going to have to really squeeze it in.
3rd and 26. Gannon. And finding the open man at the 34, Andre Rison makes his first catch of the game.
They give him forward. I think he's got it.
Very close.
I tell you what, that's a great play. And that shows you the mobility of Gannon to buy the extra seconds that are necessary for Rison to get all the way down the field to pick up this 1st down. A little shove there on Crockett, knowing the ball is coming. He gets down before they can rip it loose. Huge play for the Raiders.
And Crockett is shaken. Crockett is hurt, so there's an injury timeout as they work on him with 5:37 left in the period. 7-0 Denver. College football, prime time Saturday, and it's a beauty. 8 o'clock Eastern, Florida against Florida State right here on ABC. We'll check on Crockett. Oakland picked up a 1st down. The ball is at the 34-yard line. Kaufman is the tailback in this set with Brown in motion. And Gannon to throw with a lot of time and finds Dudley at the 50-yard line, and he is not chased down until he reaches the 35. Run out of bounds by Kenoy Kennedy.
You know, Gannon puts it right in that zone like Joey Montana used to, where they never have to break stride, even for a millisecond.
That's a big play for Ricky Dudley after the penalty to be able to come up with this catch. It is a perfect throw, Dennis, as you said. Doesn't break stride, and that's a big stride and not to break. 6'6" down the sidelines. Big play for Ricky Dudley.
30-yard gain after they converted on a 3rd and 26. Denver leading 7-0, under 5 minutes to play in the 1st. Gannon fires. Brown makes the catch, slips the tackle, moves forward to the 21-yard line, and that will move the chains.
Rison, Dudley, Brown. This is obviously one of Gannon's strengths. The guy really, it's a socialist team. He spreads the wealth.
And he reads defense as well. Jimmy Spencer filling in for Ray Crockett on the coverage with Tim Brown. Clear throwing lane for Gannon. Puts it right on the numbers.
Brown has now caught at least 2 passes in 118 straight games, with the equivalent of more than 7 seasons. Gannon gets the play off. A first and 10. Swings it out to Kaufman. Good move. And Kaufman takes it to the 10-yard line for a first down. Broke out of a George Coghill tackle.
He embarrassed George Coghill with that move. But that's what Napoleon Kaufman's all about. 5'9", 185 pounds, but a whole bunch of quickness. Watch the quick feet here as he sets up Coghill. Little dip to the inside, gives him the old limp leg as our steady cam races him down the sideline.
I think Coughlin's one of the most undervalued equities in this league. The guy's got a 4.9 career average per carry.
And he works well, especially with Wheatley, who is inactive tonight. They give the ball now to Zach Crockett, whose first carry of the game on first and goal is good for 6, making it second down and goal from the 4-yard line.
Well, this is what the Raiders said they're going to need tonight is 3 running backs to take over for Tyrone Wheatley. Zach Crockett, who scored against the Kansas City last week. Great block by John Ritchie. He's playing a little bit dinged up, too.
You know, when they have the 2 backs in there, Kaufman and Wheatley, it's like a latter-day Glenn Davis, Doc Blanchard. They really do pound inside and go fast outside.
Raiders love to run in the red zone. This time, Gannon looks to pass and then fires incomplete. Almost throwing that one away. Randy Jordan covered by Wilson. 3rd and goal. Is going to report on clock.
No,
Here's Melissa.
Al.
Go ahead,
Al, he came over to the sidelines. The trainers came around. They retaped his left ankle. He tested it out. He seems to be fine and obviously is back in.
He is back in right now. Ray Crockett shaken up earlier in this series. 3rd down and goal now. Crockett, who had the interception that led to the Bronco touchdown. So the Raiders now on 3rd down and goal. From the 4. Play clock at 2. Gannon, he's going to try to run it in and can't. He's tackled at the 2-yard line by John Mobley. Had he taken off an instant earlier, I thought he had it, but he hesitated, and Mobley's able to tackle him inside the 2.
It's still his first instincts are to find a receiver, especially when they had all this time to throw. But you know what he sees when he comes out? As he sees, watch the linebackers here on the line of scrimmage, right at the goal line. He knows he can't get in. Mobley, 51, with great mobility. Now the Raiders are going to be forced to kick a field goal.
If I had one guy on that D to make a stopgap tackle right at the goal line, I'd pick John Mobley.
19-yard attempt for the just-signed Brett Conway, former Packer, former Redskin. Kicking for the regular kicker, Janikowski, who's out with the bacterial infection. So Conway, his first 3 points as a Raider, shaves the Denver lead to 4 after that long drive. In the Pacific 7 Central right here. Brian Greasy has come back onto the field, so we'll see if he comes in after Brett Conway kicks off. A bouncing ball fielded at the 11 by Byron Chamberlain. And Chamberlain brings it back to the 24-yard line. And let's check in with Melissa.
Al, Brian Greasy is out here throwing, as you can see. Mike Shanahan just came over to him. It looked like he asked him if he was ready to go. He gave him thumbs up. Looks like he's coming back in.
Well, not right at the moment, however, as Greasy continues to warm up and Farrat comes in to at least begin this series. Again, Greasy was shaken up on this play when he was hit by Alexander on the sideline on Denver's last drive. But for the moment anyway, here is Farrat. Backup quarterback, spent last year with Detroit, before that with the Redskins, giving to Terrell Davis. And Davis up to the 26-yard line. We get to meet the Raider defensive line and linebackers. Here they are.
Tony Bryant, defensive end, Florida State University.
Reagan Upshaw, defensive end from the University of California.
Grady Jackson, nose tackle, Knoxville College.
Darrell Russell, defensive game plan focus, University of Southern California.
William Thomas, outside linebacker, Texas A&M University.
Elijah Alexander, outside linebacker, Kansas State University.
Greg Beekert, linebacker, University of Colorado.
Upshaw in for the injured Johnston.
Second down and 7 from the 26-yard line. Farrat throws, that is caught up at the 30-yard line, 3 yards shy of the first by Dwayne Carswell. Tackled by Alexander.
And defensively, the Raiders are going to come right after Gus Frerotte. Check out this block by Terrell Davis on Greg Beekert. Got him down with a shot to the chest and then gave his quarterback time to get that ball off. But you know Frerotte is going to be under pressure. Has not played a whole lot this year. The Raiders going to be coming after him. But with Davis blocking, they're in good shape.
3rd down and 3. Frerotte started one game this year when Greasy was injured. That game against Kansas City. Gus throws and it's tipped and a flag comes in from the secondary. Larry Nevers checking with his back judge.
What is his name? Larry Nevers?
Nevers. Holding, automatic first down. It's against Oakland to the consternation of one John Gruden.
Gruden had to take the hat off. He can't be grimacing in chagrin with the hat on. It restricts his forehead muscles. He has to furrow that brow, and he needs...
Number 59, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
William Thomas, the longtime Eagle.
He needs the mobility that the lack of hat affords him now.
There's William Thomas, number 59 right there. Ed McCaffrey is coming into the short zone there, and that's a great job of acting by Ed McCaffrey. Terrible call by the official. You got to be able to see that.
I think that's why McCaffrey gets whacked so much, because he fakes those.
Here's Davis on first down, slipping a tackle in the backfield. Turns no gain into a 4-yard pickup. Tackled by Grady Jackson.
I think the word's out on the defensive back grapevine that he feigns a lot of those falls, and that's why everybody goes Quasimodo on his melon all the time. Nobody takes more big hits than Eddie McCaffrey. When he started his career, that first seat was a big seat. That's how hard he's been hit out.
Quasimodo on his melon, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. With Gus Frerotte playing, at least for the moment, in place of Brian Greasy. Denver leading 7-3. And Monday Night Football from Mile High Stadium returns after this message in the word hole. After the play fake, throws that one, tries to throw it away, and nearly has it intercepted by Charles Woodson, one of the Raider defensive backs, and here they are.
Gussie, if you're going to throw it away, put it in the cheap
Charles
seats.
Woodson, wide receiver, defensive back, University of Michigan.
Eric Allen, cornerback, Arizona State University.
Marquez Pope, strong safety, Fresno State.
Anthony Dorsett, the realest free safety, University of Pittsburgh.
And Brian Greasy is back in the game. It appeared he was going to come in at the start of the second quarter. Frerotte even put his jacket on and took it off through that last pass. Here's Greasy again. Bruised shoulder is the report on Brian. 3rd and 6, and he throws bruised shoulder and all to Dwayne Carswell. The Raiders say they have the ball. There is no indication yet, and now they're saying incomplete. Greg Beekert took it all the way down the field, but one official comes in and says incomplete.
The ruling on the field is incomplete pass, 4th down.
Boy, that's real close to being a fumble. I'm not sure his knees were down when that ball came loose.
The ground can't cause a fumble, nor can dropping it.
And Shanahan is going to challenge. Goes the red flag out on the field. I think this is a worthwhile challenge.
They're all worthwhile. It's a noble cause, that challenge system. We're seeing that in West Palm Beach this week.
Boy, that is so close. He was fumbling with the ball, it appeared, and it just slipped out of his hand before Beekert even came over with the contact.
Well, this is a very interesting challenge here.
The ruling on the field that the pass is incomplete.
You
We'll
see,
review the play.
this is a funny situation.
Yeah.
Because if it is a fumble and the Raiders recover the ball, that part of the play would not be challengeable because the whistle would have blown here to end the play. So what Shanahan is saying is if he wins the challenge, the play is now over at that point as a completed pass and a first down. Because if the whistle had blown, the rest of the play is over at that point. You can't challenge the fumble. So for Shanahan, it's a case of really having nothing to lose by challenging it, even though Oakland came up with the ball.
And Beekert didn't even go into the end zone, so he knew that once the whistle blew, that the play was over. But you're right, Al. This is so close. I'm not sure there's enough evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Demers checks it out. Here's one of the looks he will have under the hood. Possession, very close.
That ball's coming out before the knees are down.
Again, since it was ruled an incomplete pass, what Nemers has to see is conclusive evidence that it was a complete pass.
Yep, and that was not a complete pass. Good sign for the Broncos, though, that Brian Griese could throw the ball, but you notice it was only about a 4-yard pass.
Now, do you guys both think it's really important that we get plays like this 100% correct all the time? What do you think? I'm not being adversary. I'm just saying, you feel the wind come out of this stadium. You've got a rocking Monday night in Denver. The place is jumping. We take a 5-minute break while some guy goes over the Zabruta film. Is this really what the NFL's about?
That's the downside to this thing. The upside is, you know, the replay system is in there to get it right.
I know, Al, but I don't know. Is right always right?
Depends on the definition of right, Dennis.
Yeah, it depends what the definition of is.
You can tell we live in parsing times.
No kidding. For the last 8 years.
I'm just saying the game was flowing.
Dennis, I agree with you. When I was playing and we had the replay, I hated it because it did stop the game. It stopped whatever momentum you might have.
I don't think these people in this stadium care that much about it.
I think they went to the manual replay here.
The pass was complete. The runner was down by contact. First down, Denver. Denver will not be charged with a timeout.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I am a little bit too. I thought that the ball was out before his knees came down, but so Dennis, I guess it's you're right. They don't always get it right.
I didn't even know what the replay was about, quite frankly. I just zone out when that happens. What happened there? Somebody dropped the ball and somebody said they didn't drop it?
He certainly did not have possession when his knees were hitting the ground.
Meanwhile, one of the things we should point out, Shanahan with a great and an immediate understanding of what that rule was, knowing there was no downside to that.
Yep.
Apart from, he would have lost the timeout, but he wouldn't have lost the ball on a fumble from the 47-yard line. Here's Davis up to the 48-yard line, gain of 1.
You know, Terrell Davis didn't expect to play or carry the ball as much as he did last week against the Jets. Had a huge day, got over 100 yards, but they were tough yards, and it's going to be tough yards again tonight for TD going against the Raiders.
You know, it was interesting the other night, Dan, when we were talking to Shanahan, and he was talking about, sure, they missed Terrell Davis's yardage. He said, we really miss him picking up blocks in the backfield because this guy cleans cobwebs out when he takes on a blitzer.
Second down and 8 at the 49-yard line. Griese whacked from behind. He never saw Eric Allen coming.
Wow, he just got down.
You know, Griese, they say it's a bruised shoulder. Well, you don't go into the locker room and be checked out by the doctors when it's just a bruise. Eric Allen with his first sack of the year, totally unblocked, totally unread by Griese, did not see him coming. Perfect play call by Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. You got a wounded quarterback back there. You might as well punish him.
Eric Allen, who rarely blitzes, has not had a sack since 1993. He had 2 career sacks prior to that one. They came in successive games 7 seasons ago. Flags are down. Free play. It is caught by Carswell across the 50 to the Raider 48-yard line, but Oakland was offside.
Carswell with the 89 looked like an old Ditka bang-up job there.
Josh Taves, number 99, came across the line.
Josh Taves doing his Chester McLaughlin imitation.
Chester was always famous for jumping that gun, wasn't he?
He get his name on TV. Josh, you're on TV. Number 99, and you're offside. But this is smart by Griese. Continuing on with the play, perhaps getting enough for the first down, but at least continuing on with it.
There are two flags. One of them clearly for Taves being offside. I don't know if the other one is for the same infraction or a different infraction. Larry Nemers sorts it out and tells us.
Infraction on number 99 in the defense. There is no play. Still third down, 5-yard penalty on the defense.
Looks like another replay.
So they must have called that Taves might have been coming at the quarterback unabated, so that they blew the whistle. Although I did not hear a whistle being blown during that play.
Gruden taking a note from Billy Cowher there with the expectoration. Think that summed up his feelings about the call.
Teammates, some of his players refer to him as Little Chucky.
Yeah.
For all his facial expressions. I'm not sure it's what he wants to be called, but they call him that with affection.
He's always got that impish chagrin on his face.
With 13:25 in the game clock. 13:25 in the game clock.
So there was no play. They put 6 seconds back on the clock.
Gruden always looks like Sting with a toothache.
Gruden is 37. The coaches live in dog years.
Especially certain organizations, huh?
Absolutely.
As long as Johnny gets his 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, he's fine.
Third down and 12. Greasy throws. It is caught at the 47-yard line, but well shy of the first by Desmond Clark. And so it's fourth down, and in comes the punting group.
And it's apparent there's something wrong with Brian Greasy's right shoulder. 2 passes he's thrown so far, and you can see just by the way he's walking off the field, that right arm is just down by his side. He's got nothing on the ball. He could not throw the ball down the field.
Nice reach behind catch by Desmond Clark, though, and between Carswell, he and Chamberlain. Looks like they've filled up that void when Shannon Sharp left.
Tom Ruin, he's been in what you call a punting slump in the last few weeks. This one he floats to the 6-yard line, and that'll be the end of the slump because they're going to down this one at the 1.5. Perfect. Rick Dennison, a very happy special teams coach. Early in the second quarter, Denver by 4. Raiders backed up. ABC's Monday Night Football from Denver. 20 degrees in Denver, Colorado. Oakland has it at their own 2-yard line. Early in the second quarter, 7-3 Broncos. Rich Gannon gives the ball to Kaufman, who gets out of the end zone and up to the 7-yard line before he's banged out of bounds by Ray Crockett.
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's check in with Eric Dickerson. Eric, we know you're ready. Go ahead.
Well, Al, one thing you can see, the Raiders have not been able to run the football tonight because without having Tyrone Wheatley. And now what they do with Kaufman is they let him run outside. But I've never been a big fan of teams having 2 running backs, which that means you have 2 different schemes. And what happens with the Raiders right now is that without the big guy, they cannot run the ball inside. And that is really hurting the Raiders right now.
Kaufman that time able to get out of the end zone. It's second down and 4. Gannon running for a first down and takes it up to the 14-yard line where he's stopped by Al Wilson.
Well, that's all fine and good if you have one running back like Eric Dickerson.
Just thinking the same thing.
Who combines the best of both guys, but it's not a perfect world.
Well, the Raiders are going to use Zach Crockett. They're going to use Napoleon Kaufman and Randy Jordan tonight, and they will try to run inside. You got to run inside, but when you got a quarterback that's as resourceful as Gannon, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. Picked up a huge first down that time.
Rich Gannon out of Delaware, 13th year in the league from the 14-yard line. And fires, and it's John Ritchie making the catch and tackled immediately by the ex-Ram Billy Jenkins.
Got a little Wrigley fun fact for you, Albino. Gannon is married to whose daughter? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Married to Bill Brown's daughter, the old fullback from the Minnesota Vikings.
One of your guys. You love Bill Brown.
I love Billy Brown. He was tough. Like Jimmy Taylor, the same back.
Same crew cut.
I know, he was a tough guy, man.
Short sleeves, whole bit.
Always. Shirt sleeves, they wore halter tops.
Second and 8 from the 16-yard line. On the ground, Kaufman. Not very far. John Mobley in on the hit. Third down and 6 upcoming. John Gruden, the head coach of the Raiders grew up in the Dayton area. He was born actually in northern Ohio, then played at the University of Dayton. His father was an assistant coach at Notre Dame, among other places. John himself, the offensive coordinator at age 31 with the Eagles, and now in his third year, and by a number of years, the youngest coach in the league. 3rd down and 7 at the 17-yard line. Gannon steps up, hit as he throws, trying to force it into Ritchie. It's incomplete. Ian Gold put the pressure on, forcing Gannon to throw that errant pass.
Ian Gold comes in on nickel situations because he's got great speed. Watch him run down Gannon. Just as Gannon's getting rid of it, if Ritchie catches the ball, he was going to be tackled way short of the first down anyway. Good defensive stand for the Broncos after that great punt by Ruin.
I think Ian Gold's got a little Tommy Jackson in him.
Shane Leckler to punt, Delta O'Neill back to return it. Leckler, the Texas A&M rookie, kicking to the rookie, #1 draft pick from the University of California. Oh, what a hit at the 37-yard line. He is buried at the 37-yard line, and the hit was made by Travian Smith. The Raiders think they have it, but no signal yet from an official.
Yeah, he just got knocked back to being the #4 pick.
I tell you what, you got to have better decision-making than O'Neill had that time. I believe the Raiders got this ball at the bottom of the pile.
They do.
Travian Smith with a huge hit.
Wow.
Along with Eric Johnson, number 41. Check out Smith is 53 from the left side of the screen. Right about there, right to the hat. The ball comes loose. And then Zach Crockett appears to be the first on the bottom of the pile with the ball.
They knocked the apostrophe off his jersey.
And he is still down, which is hardly shocking. Oh, man.
He was so indecisive on his return. He had a lot of room when he caught the ball. It just didn't seem to be able to make up his mind. He's not going to be able to make up his mind for a couple days now.
Look at his tongue. It's so blue and swollen.
It's cold.
Oh. And curved.
You are some piece of work. Oakland at the 37-yard line. Travian Smith creating the turnover. Zach Crockett is the tailback in this set. 9:30 to go in the half. They give it to Crockett. And he gets tackled after a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Eric Brown comes up to triple.
Yeah, the Raiders are the second best team in the league coming into the weekend, averaging 144 yards rushing. And tonight, the Broncos are doing a super job of holding them down. Raiders have only got 13 yards rushing so far.
Raiders rushing over the past few years, second in the league to Minnesota. Yards per game, 144 coming in. Gannon with a play clock, as you see, down to 3. On 2nd and 9, surveying, throws, near side, hits Ritchie. He's tackled immediately, making the catch at the 33, about 6 yards shy of the first. Al Wilson and Bill Romanowski are both there.
John Ritchie's from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Is that a perfect city for a fullback to come from?
Near your hometown, huh?
Mechanicsburg.
Yeah, but
he
went to Stanford. Come on. That's right. There's not a lot of guys from Mechanicsburg make it all the way to Stanford. He must be special.
Dano, I was trying to get Trout Wiggy in with that, and you shot me down.
Is that near Altoona?
Suburb, 3rd down and 6 from the 33. And that's intercepted by Bill Romanowski at the 24. And Romo gets it back for Denver.
That was the most self-reassured interception I've ever seen.
And the worst run back you'll ever see, too.
But, I mean, he really gunned it like he thought he had something.
The first interception of the year for Romanowski, 16 on his career, and he takes it all the way backwards.
Romanowski wasn't built today.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Anybody remember when Florida State versus the Electoral College was one of those early season games Bowden padded his schedule with?
Right, he used to win 536-0. Here's Terrell Davis picking up a yard up to the 22-yard line.
I could tell we're at altitude, Al. I ran out of breath there. Hey, we did a benefit with Romo the other night, a charity benefit. He volunteered with Eddie McCaffrey to show. Well, here's a replay.
Yeah, that's a replay of his interception, Dennis.
Well,
he knew that Tim Brown was coming over for that charity event too, and that's why he picked that.
It was a nice catch, but he and McCaffrey, they raffled off. They were going to show up at a kid's birthday party. They ended up agreeing to show up at 4. I thought that was nice of the two of them.
And it made about an extra $48,000 as well. Second down and 8. And McCaffrey then drops this, what would have been first down pass, or close to it, up at the 28-yard line.
But not a great pass. And Greasy again is holding his right shoulder. It looks like it's restricting his motion so much now he can't get it up high enough to deliver the ball over the top. He's dropping down to about 3/4. There's nothing worse for a quarterback to have not only the injury, but then the mental part of it where you're not sure if you are able to throw the ball or not. He's really gutting it out, showing his toughness right now.
Third down 8 from the 22-yard line. By Dwayne Carswell, but shy of the first down. Beekert and William Thomas are there, and Denver's forced to punt.
Gunned that run pretty well, though, huh, Dano?
Yeah, but how far did he throw it? Maybe 10, 12 yards. In this situation, and Brian would be the first to tell you, he'd like to be able to cut it loose and get it down the field far enough to pick up the first down.
Tom Ruin to punt. That is Darian Gordon, who played in 2 Super Bowls as a Bronco. Back to receive. Good deep kick. 19-yard line. Gordon tackled at the 25-yard line. So Tom Ruin with a 54-yard punt. Darrell Pounds makes the tackle. There's a penalty marker down. And it's Darrell Pounds who's actually down. No flag on the play. 6:26 of the half. 7-3 Denver. Manana.
Harmon, Greg Robinson.
From the 25-yard line, here is Gannon on first down. Hitting Kaufman. And Napoleon with a 12-yard gain and a first down before he's ridden out of bounds up at the 37-yard line by Billy Jenkins.
I was talking to Gannon on Saturday. I asked him, do you practice these type of ad-lib throws? He says, you never know what's going to happen, so I do. I practice throwing sidearm. I practice throwing off balance, off the back foot, because as mobile and big as these defensive linemen are nowadays, you've got to be able to improvise, and nobody does it better than Rich Gannon.
It's like that old Groucho aphorism. I sat home this afternoon and wrote my ad-libs.
Yeah, you got to practice them.
First down from the 37-yard line. Under 6 minutes left in the hand. Here's Kaufman. And Napoleon gets upended by Ray Crockett.
You know, boys, I got an odd Raider stat for you. For a team that stresses the vertical offense, or at least historically has done such, these guys have not had a 50-yard pass play in the last 35 games. Is that amazing?
Well, that's the West Coast offense that John Gruden wants to run with the Raiders, and he's got them at 8-1. And very productive, Dennis.
They leave James Jett in, though, when Rison's having such a good year, which makes me think they still want to do that vertical stretch thing because of Jett's speed. I guess they've got a more for the 2.
Jett only has 9 catches on the year, though.
2nd and 6. Here come the Broncos, and then the pass is dropped. All-out blitz, and then Andre Rison couldn't handle it.
Spider-Man usually webs those in.
Now, he was surprised at the speed of this pass. He's looking to the inside. Watch, the ball's right on him and right by him, and then he takes the lick.
Wow.
Eric Brown with the big hit after the ball goes by. This could have been called by the officials. Helmet-to-helmet contact as well.
Looked more like Peter Parker on that play.
Who?
Peter Parker, Spider-Man's alias, please.
Third down and 6. Four-man rush, Gannon throws. Brown is there, and Brown into Denver territory. 1st and 10 at the Denver 39. Run out of bounds by Eric Brown.
Tim Brown just sneaking around in the secondary here. Gets on the underneath coverage here all alone. and now he picks up a couple of blockers down the sidelines. In fact, one of them was a Bronco who was covering the wideout on that side of the field. Crafty receiver, that Tim Brown.
10 tonight, 3 catches, 40 yards. At one time, he came close to becoming a Bronco. They made him a great offer in the early 90s, and the Raiders were forced to match it, and they did. Gannon airing it out. Incomplete. Overshooting James Jett. Jett's fast, but not that fast.
Raiders are confrontative. They were trying to put that 50-yard stand right back in my face.
Well, it still wouldn't have been 50 yards because it started at the 39.
Oh, but he would have caught it 8 yards, Steve. I'm talking theoretically. Don't hang me up with that.
39 and 8, that's 47.
I've had it up to here with all your bring down. Sorry, I had to quote Stephen Boyd from the Oscar. But it would have been 50 yards aesthetically. I could see it only a 39 actual, but you had the 11 for the end zone.
Right. And then through the tunnel.
All right, they screwed it up.
2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line. Swing it out to David Dunn. His first catch of the night, and that's good for a first down on the 26-yard line. David Dunn.
This is only his 2nd catch of the year, but he's a big guy, 220 pounds. He's got pretty good running skills. Watch as he just lowers his head here and drives through. Eric Brown, number 26. Take that, Eric Brown.
Eric Brown's a good tackler, too. I liked Dunn when he played for Pittsburgh. The kid, special teams receiving, he needs a better chance.
He's going to get it here with the Raiders.
Raider drive began at their own 25. Now they're at the Denver 25-yard line. Move the chains again. Tackled by Al Wilson.
Well, I tell you what, there is no shortage of head knocking going on. Holy cow. Gannon's got an hour to throw this pass. You see Jordan's just chipping on Hasselback right there. Gannon knows where all his outlet receivers are. Watch the hit right there.
What is the medical term? Slobber knocking, I believe.
Double team on the inside here was Wisniewski and Barrett Robbins on Trevor Price, keeping the big guy away from the quarterback.
1st and 10 from the 11. 3:05 to go in the half. Gannon throwing and through the arms of Napoleon Kaufman. Knapp didn't know which way to turn on that pass.
You know, it looked to me like the ball might have been deflected. Gannon is never going to be a quarterback that throws the ball over the top. It really comes off his shoulder. Short, compact throw. I think Kavika Pittman might have got a right hand on that ball. That made it tough for Kaufman.
They could have called Jenkins for that, couldn't
they? I don't know what the guys in the white and black shirts are doing out there, and I mean the striped shirts. They're missing calls right and left. It's almost as if they get intimidated sometimes here at Mile High.
2nd down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Gannon has not been sacked tonight. Line doing a very good job. Protection again is good. He tried to thread it in, and the flag is thrown. Tim Brown gets up and salutes the official for making the call.
Beautiful pass.
Terrell Buckley with the coverage.
What a great throw by Gannon, trying to squeeze it in here. Buckley is 27. Watch the post route. Outside move, inside move, and the left hand around the back will get Buckley the call.
First down on the 1-yard line.
Well, T-Buck played it about as sweet as he could there. I mean, it was just a perfect move, perfect ball right there.
But you cannot put your left hand around the receiver when the ball is coming from the right side.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear about that at the half from Terrell himself because he's flanked up for the half. This is where they normally go to Wheatley, who's inactive tonight, at the 1. So now they have to go to Crockett, and he's into the end zone to give Oakland the lead for the first time in the game.
Big Ray Crockett, 240 pounds. Raiders running inside behind the left side here. Wisniewski and Barry Sims getting the start. A couple of missed tackles there by Mobley and Wilson, and Crockett scores.
75 yards go the Raiders on that drive. Brett Conway just signed yesterday with Janikowski inactive tonight. And the brand new kicker here for probably 1 week only, moves it through. So Crockett gives Oakland the lead late in the first half. 10-7 Raiders. Final Monday night game to be played at Mile High Stadium because their brand new stadium about 75% complete. Next week we go to St. Louis. Great matchup, Redskins-Rams. Marquee matchup on Monday Night Football. Sunday, Jags-Steelers on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Short kick, 13-yard line. Delta O'Neal with his wits about him, we hope, after that monster hit. Brings it back out to the 30-yard line.
I'm sure Delt was thinking you got to get right back on the horse, Al.
When you're a Bronco, you have to get right back on the horse.
Hey, the last Monday night game in Mile High, my first game here.
Yeah, I'm going to miss this place. And I at the top, I talked about the fact, I think if I had to list my 10 favorite games in 15 years of doing Monday Night Football, probably 5 of them would have been played here, and the other 5 for this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been on a lucky roll, boys.
From the 30-yard line, 29, make it 1st and 10. Greasy throws, and making the catch on his seat is Ed McCaffrey. Up at the 36, and now the Broncos going without a huddle here. Conserving their timeouts, 2.5 minutes. They have all 3 plus the 2-minute warning. So a ton of time. As Greasy has it batted back, it is spiked back like a volleyball by Grady Jackson.
Rejection.
Meanwhile, Terrell Davis hasn't seen that much action tonight after 33 carries last week. Terrell 7 carries for just 18 yards, 19 yards on the ground tonight for Denver.
Look at big number 90 here, spying the quarterback and moving laterally just in time to knock that ball up in the air. That ball was in the air a long time. Greasy had no idea where it was, and Jackson couldn't get to it.
3rd and 3, and now Greasy has to spend a timeout.
Timeout. Denver. That's their first team timeout.
They have
It'll
2
be a
plus
30-second timeout.
2-minute warning. Timeout. 3rd down and 3, Denver, when we come back. By Southwest Airlines. Lower left portion of the screen is where the construction site is, just outside current Mile High Stadium, and where I'm sure we will have a Monday night game next year.
Right about there.
Right about there.
And it's huge.
Looks like Arrowhead, doesn't it? The shape?
Yes.
It's a little like Arrowhead.
It's beautiful.
Have fun with my crayon.
3rd down and 3. Fake toss. Greasy rolls. Picked off at the 43-yard line by William Thomas. Thomas floating out in the flat, intercepts it.
Didn't see him or no zip on the ball, Dano? What'd you see?
You know, he had Travis McGriff deep, and I know that he wanted to go there, but I just don't think he's got confidence in his arm. He's seeing McGriff right here. He's cutting to the sideline. Greasy trying to throw back across his body.
That's 4 interceptions for William Thomas this season.
Well, it's his job now to come over and tell Shanahan if the wing's not working, right?
Yeah, at some point you got to be honest with yourself and be honest with your team. Right now, Greasy's a hurt quarterback. That's his 4th interception. Only his 4th interception of the year.
Only he's thrown over 300 passes this season. Here's Gannon. Nearly sacked. Gets it off. Slipping a tackle. Kaufman turns nothing into a little something. Bumped out at the 38-yard line with 2:05.
How did Kavika Pittman not bring down Rich Gannon? Here he is right here. Watch him get around Barry Sims right there. Gannon just steps up in the pocket long enough or far enough to get the ball to Kaufman.
Looks like Gannon had the peripheral radar on there, man. He seemed to sense it, steal himself for a second, make the dump. The guy's cool as ice.
But you know what happened? Pittman was going for the strip. He was coming with that tomahawk chop, and when Gannon stepped up, he struck out.
2-minute warning. Oakland at the Denver 38 with a 3-point lead and all 3 timeouts. 2 minutes to go in the first half. At the 38-yard line, it is 2nd down and 6 for the Oakland Raiders. Up by 3. They have all of their timeouts. Tanavasa. Mic'd up is the voluble one, Terrell Buckley. We'll hear from him at the half. He's been mic'd up in the first half. And we'll also preview the Redskins and the Rams.
What's up, guys? Big night tonight. Big night. This is where we climb back into it. I think we're ready to play. We're ready to play.
Buckley talking about climbing back into it. If they lose tonight, Oakland would have a 4-game lead. If they win tonight, oh, look at this.
Albino, you're not getting older, you're getting less younger.
Thank you, sweetie. Look out, Gannon, hit, fumble, loose ball, and Denver has it. Tavika Pittman. Pittman recovers. Ian Gold stripped Gannon. 2 big plays tonight for Ian Gold, using his speed to get to Rich Gannon. There he is, 52. He goes right by Ricky Dudley. That's that Michigan-Ohio State thing happening there. Gannon fumbled 1 time in the first game, threw 2 interceptions in the first game. He's done both of those things here in the first half of this game.
You know, Gold's wearing 52, but he's not much bigger than a strong safety, and when he comes hard.
Ian Gold, the rookie from Michigan, that's his first career sack. Flag is thrown, Greasy's pass is tipped, and then Carswell drops it.
Gold's the new Atwater.
Penalty will be against Denver for a hold.
Check out this speed by Gold. Ricky Dudley never saw him, and neither did Rich Gannon. Bottom of the pile, Tavika Pittman with the recovery.
And going back to what you were just saying before, Dan, Gold was in no way going for the tomahawk chop. His prime directive was to take out Gannon, and then he thought about freeing the ball up.
Yeah, you know, he just had a real good free shot at him. And with his speed, didn't have to worry about going for the chop.
Yeah, he didn't really overdo the kill shot. He just kind of performed his task and then thought about freeing the ball.
First and 20 at the 30. And moving on the right side as Dwayne Carswell started into the action before the snap. Now in terms of timeouts.
False start offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's Oakland that has to think about using them defensively, and they have all 3.
Denver moving backwards with a couple of penalties. Holding, now offsides.
Mike Shanahan, as you can see, against the Raiders. Head coaches with best records against a previously coached team. Saban second, Shula 35 and 17 after starting his head coaching career with the then Baltimore Colts. First and 25 from the 25. Greasy flushed out, chased from behind, and then airmails it into the Denver bench.
See, Gussie Farrat didn't know when you threw it out of bounds. You really got to wing it. No mistake with Greasy. That one was almost up here. I was ducking.
Gussie Farrat.
When you have a third or second down at 25, or now it's going to be second down at 25 now, the Raiders are coming after him. They sent the blitzer, Torrey James, number 20, came free. That forced Greasy to throw that one away, Dennis. But, you know, the Raiders smell blood right now. They know that Greasy can't get the ball down the field. They're going to be coming after him.
Second and 25, vacant backfield, 5 receivers. Underneath, the pass is caught by Chamberlain. And Chamberlain gets out of bounds at the 42-yard line, about 8 yards shy of the first down.
I'm kind of surprised that they ran the ball 33 times last week. The Raiders with Davis, or the Broncos with Davis, and yet they seem reticent this week. And with Greasy's arm a little banged up, I'm surprised they're not pounding Terrell more.
They've only given him the ball 7 times. It's probably because he's only been able to gain 18 yards with those 7 carries.
Yeah, but you got to keep running him. I'm sure he's broke all the psychic adhesives he had last week. I'd just pound him if Greasy's damaged.
Third down 10. Again, 5 receivers in this set. Greasy throws, and that pass is incomplete. Chamberlain was falling down. And it's 4th down, so not only will the Raiders get the ball, but they weren't compelled to use any of their timeouts, so they'll have all 3 when they get it back.
And it's important for Ruin to really kick this ball deep and give the Raiders a long field to go here at the end of the first half. But Ruin's having an off year. It's only netting an average of 30.8 yards. And in Denver, with a mile high, that's around a 20-yard average at sea level.
Darian Gordon back to receive it. Floating kick. Bounces at the 25, takes a Raider bounce, and thus it is down by John Mobley at the 25-yard line. Speaking of Terrell Davis, we talked to him about how he felt after he carried the ball 33 times last week against the Jets.
Well, good afterwards. I mean, my body felt pretty good. Carrying 33 times. Of course, I didn't really expect to carry that many times. I went to the game thinking anywhere from 10 to 15 carries. And next thing you know, I come out, it's 33 carries. But it felt good. It just felt good to go in there, get 30 carries, and just really get to the normal flow of things. So it wasn't really a problem.
Thank God his mom's priming him with that Campbell soup, Al. He's ready for anything.
I bet he gets a bunch of carries in the second half, Dennis.
And I bet you I get a case of free soup.
From the 25-yard line. Gannon throws, Brown juggles, makes the catch, picks up the first down, and gets out of bounds.
Just kidding, Andy. I don't want to get into any Alan Freed payola. Don't send me the soup.
You might call that the trifecta, huh, Al?
Yes.
Catches the ball, gets the first down, gets out of bounds, and he gets a can of soup. Soup for everybody.
How we're holding it.
2 chickens in every pot. At the 36. 70 seconds to go in the half. Gannon. He's going to run. He's going to slide to a halt up at the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 8 at second down and 2.
You know, the Raiders bring Maury Wills in training camp. Teach Gannon how to do the hook slide.
You know what I don't understand, though, is he did slide, and Mahatanavasa, number 98, still comes over the top. Watch Ma.
Yeah, but he ducked and covered.
They give him 7 at second down and 3. Gannon fires, and in blanket coverage, Brown still makes the catch, despite being enveloped by Jimmy Spencer. First down, timeout, Raiders, 36 seconds.
And you know why he made the catch? He expected to make the catch. He's a great receiver. Watch him out here working on Spencer. Just a hook route. Ball's on the way. He reacts to it, shields Spencer with his body, and makes a juggling catch.
You know, but Gannon doesn't even put it on the numbers. He puts it a little to the right of the numbers, right in that shoulder thing where they want to catch it, or right in the armpit area. It's beautiful to touch the guy.
Gannon talking to Gruden, and here's what Brown says about his coach, John Gruden.
He's able to handle this whole environment, and when I talk about that, of course, you got to be talking about a number of things, and one being Al Davis, the other thing being, the players, Raider players are known for being just a little bit different, and I didn't know at 35, 36 if he can come in and handle the situation, and I think what he has proven is not only can he handle the situation, but he can excel in the situation.
I think Gruden lights candles at the shrine of the old Raiders, but he also knows they have to establish a new legacy.
First and 10 from the 46-yard line. Gannon sacked at the 50-yard line. That's Trevor Price with the sack. Clock momentarily stopped, and then Gannon has to use a timeout. They're second. They have 1 remaining.
Well, they ought to stop the clock so we can watch more of that dance by Trevor Price. 93 right here with a great move on Mo Collins. Splits the double team as Robbins comes over and then wraps up the quarterback in, and that's 8 sacks on the year now for the dancing Trevor Price.
And
timeout.
Shanahan gives some of the credit for those 8 sacks now to Kavika Pittman, who came over from Dallas. Shanahan said when he was at Dallas, they had kind of put him in the wrong scheme, but he's turned him loose here, and Pittman's got 6 sacks. I don't remember him being that aggressive when I used to see him down in Las Colinas.
Trevor Price with the ball at the 50-yard line, second down, and 14 coming up here with 31 seconds remaining in the first half. This is where the Raiders might wind up missing Sebastian Janikowski with his powerful leg. He's still out with a bacterial infection. Conway's the kicker. They try to work into field goal range. Gannon slings it for Brown, who can't make a circus catch at the 24-yard line. He'd gotten position on the defender, Buckley, but he had to consider where the sideline was and couldn't hold it in.
Well, it might have been a circus catch, but you're used to seeing Timmy Brown be the ringmaster of these late half or late game efforts.
Third down now, 14 at the 50.
Brown is gassed. He's going to the sidelines. Rising and Chet, the wide receivers.
Gannon flushed out underneath to Ritchie, but he's tackled inbound, then fumbles the ball forward at the 44-yard line, but they'll rule it dead at the 44. No holy rollers anymore.
Where have I seen that before? I'll tell you where. 1978.
Yes, you have. Firsthand, didn't you?
Stabler and Banaszak. In fact, Ritchie's wearing the same number as Banaszak. Number 40. Yeah, he did it just the same way. Now, where's Casper? That's not Casper.
We got to get the team therapist in here. Dano's got the papers.
It's a flashback.
That's their third and final timeout.
Stabler wore 12, didn't he?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
I've had too many Raider flashbacks, I think.
Well, it's karma, boys. That's why the rule's put in. You can't do it again, Oakland.
So the Raiders now, with 1 second remaining, have the ball at the 44-yard line. So if you're going to attempt a field goal here, it would be 62 or 63 yards. 63, of course, there is Janikowski. 63 is the NFL record held by, jointly, one Jason Elam and Tom Dempsey.
Janikowski has some sort of foot, what is it, Al? What has he got? Foot mange or what?
Bacterial infection. I don't know.
And his roommate, the punter, he's got an inflamed groin.
Check that rug out in that apartment, huh?
Yeah, they gotta get a maid over there.
Boy,
Something's
oh boy.
weird, man.
It's a Lysol.
Jesus.
4th and 8. Do they go for a Hail Mary here? This is the all-time prevent defense. 3-man rush on a wing and a prayer into the end zone, and that was actually thrown out of the back of the end zone. And that's the way the opening half will end in Mile High Stadium. 30 minutes in the books. This great rivalry for the 11th time. It's a Monday night treat. Oakland and Denver. And through the first half of play, it is the Oakland Raiders 10 and the Denver Broncos 7. Here's Melissa.
All right, Alan, with Mike Shanahan. Mike, obviously the big question, Brian Griese's injured shoulder. How has that affected the offense?
Well, it's bothering him a little bit right now. We're just not playing as complete as we'd like. We got to get that running game going a little bit. We get that going. I think we get a little play action off. And right now, the guys a little off balance. Hopefully, we can get a little bit better in the second half.
Do you think we'll see Gus Frerotte in the second half?
It all depends on how Brian's feeling.
All right, thanks, Mike. Let's go over to Eric.
Well, Coach, you've had some turnovers in the first half, but you still have the lead.
Yeah, we got to avoid turnovers in the second half. We knew it was going to be a big part of this game. They're applying a lot of pressure to us right now. We got to tighten it up here at halftime.
How about the running game? You try to get that going in the second half?
It's tough. They got a lot of guys committed to stopping a run. We're going to do the best we can to get it going, but we're going to try to win the game any way we can.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you, guys.
All right, Eric, they have 30 yards on the ground and 186 in the air. Buckley mic'd up coming up at the half. Skins Rams preview on the Lexus Halftime Show. Now in his first season as a Bronco, Terrell Buckley mic'd up at the half.
Big night tonight. Big night. This is where we climb back into it. I think we're ready to play. You nervous, Coach?
No. Cool, bro. You nervous?
I've been doing this too long to be nervous. How many you gonna throw my way? About 5 or 6?
Oh, you know you want to get a cup over there. What the f*** ain't going to eat you up? Can't eat you. I told you can't eat the buck, man. Forget about that. Oh, what's up?
Hey, man, get off me. What's up? How you doing?
Man, I got some disease. Huh?
You all right?
Yeah. I'll be all right.
Your foot, the swelling went down, everything?
Swelling went down. I'm walking now. I couldn't walk. I woke up the next morning before the game.
Just swole.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't do it. Hopefully next week. I hope it. I wish I could kick here, man.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, this is a nice night tonight. Last night was cold.
You return one, I'll return one.
Don't leave that thing. Break your one, dog.
If you want me to start it off, I'll start it off. You got to get one for me, baby.
All right. That'll work.
We have Buckley mic'd up for the half on 3rd down and 13. Gannon chased and then throws, and it is picked off at the 39-yard line.
Good job, baby.
That's the same route that me and you have been working on that whole time, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, they're going to throw the ball to Rise a lot tonight, because he getting there early in the last
Look, though. Shake-wise.
Hey, John, you know they ain't going to run it. You can get out of there quicker now. They ain't going to run it.
Gannon. Oh, it's a fumble
killing. Putting them hands on. Hey, they got to throw one over that night at me. They got to be ready for it. Take advantage of it.
The rookie #1 draft pick from the University of California. Oh, what a hit at the 37-yard line.
Let's go, D. It's on us again. Hey, this is a big series for us, baby. It's big. It's big. It's big. Oh, my booty, my booty. Come on, pull on. Hey!
Oakland and Denver. They've been going at it since 1960. Each one of the original American Football League franchises. Denver will get the ball. Brett Conway to kick off. Third quarter underway at Mile High. Kick to the goal line. Fielded by Delta O'Neal. And the rookie from Cal brings it back out to the 25-yard line. Tackled by Bobby Brooks. Let's take a look at the numbers. And I think what's interesting here, Dan, is that the Broncos have averaged 482 yards per game over their last 3 games, and tonight 100 yards.
100 yards, you combine that and that, and it's not a very good picture for Denver. Brian Griese is taking over and start the second half. That's a good sign for Denver.
They begin with a toss to Davis. Davis slithers out of the backfield. Gets up to the 32-yard line. Tackled by Greg Beaker. Terrell Davis had those 2 great years in 97-98.
Well, he's really experienced the wild ride on the NFL roller coaster. You can see that great year in 98. A year later, he tore the ACL of his right knee and was lost for the year. Then in this season opener on a Monday night, sprained his left ankle, missed 5 games. But he's back on his way up. 100 yards against the Jets last week. They need a big second half out of him tonight.
And he begins the second half with a 7-yard gain, followed by a 4-yard gain. Tackled by Thomas, and the first down for the Broncos.
I saw Al Davis in the hall at halftime. Beautiful. I actually saw him. That's like if Elvis had lived. That's what I think what Elvis would look like today. It's
Didn't know who you were?
Huh? No. Smack me around a little.
Not the huddle.
Beautiful.
From the 36-yard line, first down. Griese throws, caught by McCaffrey. And McCaffrey takes it to the 50-yard line, tackled by Beaker.
We're getting our money's worth on the big hits tonight.
Oh, yeah. William Thomas got a big shot on McCaffrey, or rather, yeah, here's William Thomas, 59, right there, and just missed him. McCaffrey's a big guy. He's 215 and tough as nails. Nobody, as you said, Dennis, takes more shots, probably because he's from Allentown, huh?
Well, I think feigning those pass interference things catches up to him. Words on the street, if you get a chance, clock him.
Griese might have been tipped. Pass incomplete. Eric Allen covering Rod Smith.
Yeah, I think that William Thomas might have got a hand on that one. Dropping into a zone coverage. He was reading the... Check him out right here. Watch him drop. And his right hand's going to get on that ball and just knock it behind Rod Smith.
Beautiful play.
Thomas already had an interception.
Boy, what a graphic depiction of a guy making us drop and read. That is textbook.
Second and 10 at the 50-yard line. Beaker blitzes, and then Davis runs right through that hole to the 36-yard line. So they sent Beaker through the middle, and Davis went right by him for 14.
They got to do that all night. It's Terrell Davis.
Now he got a great block by his fullback, Howard Griffith. Watch 29 right there from the ump cam. Davis goes right by the umpire. Big first down. Best run of the night for either team.
When doesn't he get a big block from Howard Griffith? Like Batman and Robin.
There it is, right there.
Oh, that is nice.
From the 36, first down. Griese on the catch. recovered on the play by Eric Allen.
Can you get anything on the arm from that throw, Dano?
Well, the result was pretty good, but it was such an effort. He looks like he's so bound up that it was not a fluid throw. He got it down the field. I don't know how, probably because he's such a tough kid.
Well, if he had any adhesions, they're torn out there.
Gannon tonight in the first half, 192 yards. And Greasy trying to work through that shoulder.
Those are not the numbers that these guys are used to putting up this year. Got to credit the defense tonight.
Second and 10, flag is thrown. Movement up front. Another flag now from the other side. Gain of 1. Check in with Eric Dickerson. ED?
Well, Al, when I talked to Terrell Davis yesterday, I asked him what was the most important thing in this game. He said, Eric, I want to get back out to make sure I still can make the cuts that I've made in the past. He carried the ball 33 times last week. He said he wanted to carry the ball a lot tonight, but what he will do, he says, he will bring himself out of the game when he feels like he's getting kind of tired.
And when he does, Mike Anderson spells him. That penalty was against the Raiders offside, so the ball is at the 31. It's second down and 5.
You're talking about Terrell Davis and Eric Dickerson. You're talking about two guys who dwell in the ether. Only two backs ever in the history of the league to gain 1,700 yards in consecutive seasons.
Second and 5 from the 31. Now Davis to the outside, inside the 20. Flag is thrown at the end of the play at the 17-yard line.
They're going to get holding against the Broncos. That's why Davis got to the outside.
I love the way this guy runs the football.
During the run, number 83. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Travis McGriff.
Got to get McGriff holding on a defensive back there. One of those chicken fight things here, working against Eric Allen. He's got his right hand around Allen right there. And then as Davis cuts to the outside, the official will throw the flag in there.
And McGriff had come into the game because McCaffrey needed a blow after running that deep pattern. He came out, McGriff came in, and there's the penalty. Now Mike Anderson is in the game. Davis comes out for the moment. And it is second down and 7. McCaffrey in motion. Greasy underneath, caught by Rod Smith to the 25-yard line and a first down. Tackled by William Thomas.
Well, that's nothing different for Smith. He's produced 47 first downs coming into this game on his catches.
Well, you know the way he does it, Dennis. Watch how quickly, after he makes the catch, he turns up the field instantly.
Right.
And just that got him 3 yards and got him the first down.
Gone to the second earring and the granny glasses.
Came in with 58 catches, only his second of the game tonight for 16 yards at the 25-yard line. That is thrown behind Rod Smith.
Yeah, sometimes he turns upfield too quickly.
Second down and 10. Next week to St. Louis we go. Our second look on Monday night this year at the Rams. Last time we saw them opening night when they beat the Broncos, and they'll take on the Washington Redskins in what has become a most critical game for Norv Turner's group. Skins-Rams next Monday.
Will Marshall Falk, the Rams' Deus Ex Machina, participate in the fray?
Second down and 10. Davis in the game. Terrell gets the ball. Tries to cut it back. Picks up about 4 at the 22. Tackled by Thomas. Davis talking about what a tough rehab it was for him after reconstructive knee surgery.
It could really send a weaker man into retirement. I'm telling you, it's been tough. You know, it's been one of those situations where you have to deal with injuries and have, you know, to play with the pain is the toughest thing about it, and have to carry that through the season. And before that, I had a knee injury, so working the entire offseason for that, and to come back and have something else go wrong, it really puts you through the test.
Third down and 8 now. No backs behind Greasy. 5 wideouts. And it's caught by Smith, and he has a first down. So Rod Smith, 2 key catches, and a first down here tackled by Darian Gordon.
And both times, Dennis, like you were talking about, he caught the ball short of the first down, turned as soon as he caught it, dove forward and picked it up.
I know he's got a concise pivot point, doesn't he?
There's no waste of motion there for Rod Smith.
So first down now at the 13-yard line, and Davis has come back to the bench. They're looking at Terrell Davis, checking him out. Mike Anderson is the running back. The fake to Anderson, and out into the flat to Griffith. And the fullback takes it to the 6-yard line for a gain of 7, tackled by Eric Allen.
Can't say Mike Anderson doesn't carry out his fakes. I was following him all the way.
There's Anderson. There's that fake you talked about. Greasy's pretty good at it. And Howard Griffith's pretty good at getting out of the backfield and making catches. You're seeing the entire Bronco offense, because of necessity, with Greasy's arm not being 100%.
Second and 3 from the 7-yard line. Greasy, hit as he throws, caught at the 3-yard line by Ed McCaffrey. Let's see where they give him forward progress. Very close to a first.
This is a real good drive for the Broncos. 13 plays now, almost 6.5 minutes off the clock, and on the verge of putting one in the end zone and taking the lead.
They may measure here. It's that close. Greasy on this drive to start the second half. They don't have to measure. He is short by about a half yard.
They'd love to get it in here, obviously, because the wind's starting to whip up a little, too. Might make the fourth quarter more interesting.
3rd and inches. Davis is back in. Dan circles him. Griffith is the fullback. Terrell seeks the first down and is bottled up at the 4. Doesn't get there. And as much as Shanahan would like to go for it here on 4th and 1, he can't in a 3-point game, and out comes Elam for the chip shot.
Yeah, this is a good decision by Mike Shanahan. Give your team some points after this long drive. Started on the 25-yard line. Beautiful way to start the second half. Come out of the locker room and get points on the board.
This is beyond chip shot. This is a lob wedge for this kid. He's kicked it 4 times back as far as this.
23-yard field goal. Ruin puts it down. Elam ties the game. And the Broncos have the ball for the first 7 minutes, 35 seconds of the 3rd quarter. The Raiders will have it for the first time in the second half when we come back with the game tied in Denver, 10-10. Dealers who invite you to come see what's different. Intel. Get the power of 3, the Intel Pentium 3 processor. Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service. And Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Like a young Bob Piatti.
Or an old Bob Piatti. Kickoff at the 10 is fumbled, picked up, and brought back by David Dunn after the muff up to the 30-yard line.
Dunn took it on his chest like Brooksy Robinson, picked it right back up.
Throw to first in time. Eastern and Pacific.
As per league directives, I will not discuss whose line it is.
Or Danny Sheridan. From the 29-yard line. From the 29 on 1st and 10, it's Napoleon Kaufman picking up 2 up to the 31, tackled by Maha Tanovaso. Raiders with the ball for the first time in this half. Outgained the Broncos better than 2-1 in the first half.
And you know, you come out of the nice warm locker room and you stand around for 15 minutes or so, and it's difficult. This temperature is dropping here as we're going along.
We'll get a new reading for you shortly. The game time temperature at the start was 20. On 2nd and 8, Hoffman. No gain to the 31. Let's check in on the field with Melissa.
Al, in talking to Mike Shanahan before the game, he said he was happy with the way his offense has been playing recently, but not his defense, especially his rushing defense. They were embarrassed against Cincinnati. He didn't like the way they played against the Jets. So for the past 2 weeks, they've been wearing pads in practice, and here's why that's interesting. Since Shanahan took over the Broncos in '95, the players have never worn pads after November 1st. He said, I don't care if you guys are tired, you better start tackling better, you better start stopping the run. That's the only way they're coming off.
3rd and 8, and Corey Dillon forced that issue as Gannon gets taken down at the 30-yard line, and they're forced to punt. It was Dillon who ran for 278 yards, a record. Mobley and Spencer in on the hit here. and the defense stiffens on Oakland's first possession.
Well, last week they clamped down on the Jets. They only had 88. Curtis Martin had 71, but Shanahan was still worried because they had a 5.2 average last week and only 18 carries.
Well, they are totally committed to stopping the run tonight. There's no question about that. Just 32 yards rushing for the Raiders so far.
Shane Leckler to punt, and it is blocked. It is blocked at the 17-yard line by Ian Gold. And the rookie from Michigan picks it up and scores his first touchdown.
The price of gold is skyrocketing. Kid knows how to shoot a gap.
Well, that is about as well designed as you're ever going to see. Perfect execution by the Broncos as Detron Smith cleared the way for Gold to get in on Leckler, and then Gold takes it the distance.
Elam tacks on the extra point. And they're roaring at Mile High as they have for 40 years. Broncos on top again by 7. Ian Gold not only played at Michigan, Ian Gold was born at the University of Michigan Hospital in Ann Arbor. Comes here, second-round draft choice, and he is the man of the moment.
Delivered by Bo Schembechler.
Elam's kick is a short one, 14-yard line. David Dunn on the run.
Look at Dunn.
And David Dunn brings it out to the 43-yard line.
No wonder Cruden digs him so much. The guy really turns it upfield.
Tackled by Delta O'Neal. 5:09 left in the third. Another beauty in the making on Monday Night Football. What else is new? We may be in the Rockies, a long way from the ocean, but Ocean Journey opened last year in downtown Denver. Sharkscape is the current interactive display. 16 different species of sharks. Gannon on first down throws, and that's broken up. Terrell Buckley mic'd up at the half, in on the play.
Let's go back to this block punt. Ian Gold's going to get a lot of credit, and he deserves it because he blocks it here and then picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown. But check out Detron Smith there, and in the other circle is Desmond Clark. Clark takes the personal protector out of the way. Detron takes the center out of the way. Just perfectly executed.
It's beautiful, Dan. It was like a D-line stunt.
It really was.
Second and 10. Throw is caught by Rison on a slant. Rison gets tackled immediately at the 48-yard line.
This is just the second catch of the night for Rison. Dropped one earlier on a similar type of pattern. Makes sure of this catch as Gannon throws it low to the inside away from Jimmy Spencer.
Close to a first down, they'll measure. Andre has caught touchdown passes for 7 different teams in his vagabondish career.
And both he and Tim Brown have 81 career touchdown receptions.
Guys, I'm in a stat hole here. I was not aware of any of this.
Well, you do that when there's a measurement, Dennis. There's nothing else to talk about.
Here's another stat from our statistician, weatherman George Hill. It's 13 degrees right now.
You must teach me the way of the Force, Yoda. I don't know these things.
Well, you know what? I'd be happy to, buddy. Just don't stand up on me again.
About an hour after the game, Dan will teach it to you. First and 10 from the 48-yard line. Gannon hit as he throws, gets it away, and then Dudley can't make the catch. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Al Wilson came blitzing through and knocks Gannon down as he gets the pass away.
And you can see Gannon telling Ricky, I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. I had a linebacker right in my face. Impossible throw by Gannon. Almost got the reception to his tight end.
See how balanced the Raiders have been coming into the game tonight. The same number of rushing plays and passing plays. Huge difference tonight, though. As you can see, the Raiders 35 passes and only 14 rushes. Of course, they're minus Tyrone Wheatley. That's the difference.
Those 281 are broken down into 267 passes and 14 45.
Price is huge at 295 pounds, and look at that athletic move, getting away from a great offensive guard, Steve Wisniewski, and then we get treated to another dance, but that was a spectacular move by an interior lineman.
And Kaufman went limping off the field. 3rd down and 15 now.
What was that dance? That looks like me after 3 Cosmos at a wedding.
And 2 Spears. 3rd and 15 from the 47. Gannon eludes the sack, going deep for Brown and incomplete. Covered by Buckley, 4th and 15.
This is riotous action. Did you see that Greg Louganis dive?
That was Eric Brown, the weak safety, coming on a blitz. There he is, number 26 here. Great block there, but I think that's Zach Crockett. No, that's Randy Jordan taking away the legs of Brown and causing him to go all the way over. Gannon with a sidestep. We're lucky Eric Brown's still alive.
Throw out the high, throw out the low. Times by the degree of difficulty.
Leckler to punt. His last one was blocked. He gets this one away. O'Neal is back. Calls for a fair catch. Pulls it in at the 17. The Broncos have it there with 3.5 to go in the 3rd. And Denver trying to go to 6 and 4 on top, 17 to 10. 3.5 remaining in the 3rd quarter here. Big game coming up Saturday. That's a prime time game Saturday night on ABC. Number 4 Florida against number 3 Florida State.
That's going to be a
huge headbanger.
From the 17-yard line, here is Davis picking up 6 up to the 23.
Draw play for the Broncos to start this drive. And Davis, with great vision, just gets tripped up there by his own lineman, or he might have gotten the 1st down.
He was low for breading it a little there. Lucky he didn't get hit earlier.
Davis, 59 yards, 14 carries. 2nd down 4. That's McCaffrey, but he has to come back to get it, and thus he is shy of the 1st by a yard. Tackled by Allen. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
You know, Dan, you're right about the arm just being a little off, huh? Earlier in the game, full stride. The ball was right there. It's just a hair off now.
Right. You know, you really got to hand it to him because he's playing in pain. He's not giving in to the pain, and he's showing great leadership by playing with it. And he's got his team on top.
3rd and 1. Greasy throws, 1st down, and stiff-arming his way out to the 37 is Dwayne Carswell. He took Marquez Polk for a ride.
That was a Heisman statuette stiff arm. Yeah.
Put him on the Polkmobile.
You know, the quickness of Greasy to get rid of this ball and let Carswell do his thing with the stiff arm on Marquez Polk. But did you notice how Marquez pulled his hand down and actually used his hand to make the tackle?
I think he stiff armed him right in the groin too. You don't usually see that. Very effective.
Raiders jump offside. Davis chugs his way to the 41-yard line, but they'll take the penalty, and thus it'll be 1st and 5. Believe it or not, we cover the earth here on ABC Sports. Tonight, as Larry Nemmers will tell us, this is offside against...
Defense, offside, number 58.
Can you believe this?
5-yard penalty.
Now, Michigan State beat the Harlem Globetrotters 72-68. The Trotters' winning streak ends at 1,270. You know, I don't know, somewhere, I don't know if Red Klotz is dead or alive. I'm sure we'll find out before the night is done. But he's got to be laughing.
All I know is I had the Trotters in 3.
All I know is that Red Klotz could never get the job done with the Washington Generals, but somehow Michigan State beats the Trotters tonight.
No betting out there, America.
It was a joke.
No betting.
1st down from the 45-yard line. And they'll convert here as Ron Smith takes off down the sideline and gets all the way to the 32-yard line.
Smitty lead the league and plays over 20 yards with 19. There's his 20th.
But meanwhile, Brian Greasy took a huge shot from Josh Taves. The outside here, and here's Smith working against Eric Allen, or against a very soft zone. Again, the quickness to get up the sideline is so impressive. Should have been a penalty there for a face mask there on Eric Allen. That's a 5-yard variety of a face mask right there.
Boy, you're right about him, though, Dano. He's very impressive after he gets the ball. He's got that Johnny Taylor acceleration.
And the Raiders have to take a timeout with 36 ticks left in the third. And Denver on top by a score of 17-10. So Brian Griese, tough season for him, off-season shoulder surgery.
And he's been taking a beating all night long. This is from the first quarter. That was the injury that sent him to the locker room. And now Eric Allen with a blitz after the injury. I tell you one thing, he gets hit again on this play. Watch number 99, Josh Taves, and watch, it's right down on his right shoulder one more time. Gutty performance from Griese, but what do you expect from a son of a Hall of Famer?
Guys, I want to apologize to you and the viewers at home tonight for putting a Y on the end of everybody's first name. I don't know what it's about. It's a thing. I'll work through it. I'll get better.
Okay, Benny. First and 10 at the 31-yard line. Here is Davis. Ball! If the ball goes out of bounds, it's Denver's ball, and it is.
He was holding that earlier one like a loaf of bread. This one got punched right out.
Anthony Dorsett punched it out. This is going to be a big game, too. Dorsett comes from his weak safety position, and with the right hand, just slaps it out. Davis was moving the ball from his right hand to his left hand, and just an instant after that, Dorsett with perfect timing right on the ball. Fortunate for the Broncos, it rolls out of bounds.
It was textbook running back execution, moving to the outside arm, but he got caught right there in the DMZ.
Yeah.
Big quarter for Denver. This figures to be the final play of the period. Davis picking and threading his way to the 30-yard line. When the fourth quarter begins, it'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Broncos, who end the third period on top 17-10. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message from our ABC stations. Bulls inside the 15.
Last week against the Jets, the Broncos converted 66% of their 3rd down situation. Tonight, Griese in the second half has been outstanding, finding the slant by the tight end there, Chamberlain. But the reason they're successful, they're making quick decisions after they make the catch, and they're in very manageable 3rd down situations. Mostly 3rd down and medium, not 3rd and real long.
First and 10 from the 13-yard line. Back to Davis, and he gets wrapped up for a loss of 2. In the first half tonight, the Broncos had the ball for 11 minutes and 19 seconds. In the third quarter alone, 11 minutes, 7 seconds. There you go.
Wow.
I'd like to have Chris Matthews come in and analyze. How great is Chris Matthews, by the way?
He's the smartest guy on television. He and Hitchens. How has this whole thing come down to overseas ballots? We're going to leave it up to the people who got out. Is that what you're telling me? The people who split.
I'm telling you today, Chris Matthews was just off the charts great. 2nd down and 12 at the 16-yard line. Griese throws, caught at the 12-yard line by Ed McCaffrey. Tackled by Greg Biekert. Big 3rd down play coming up. Check out the numbers for the first 45 minutes of competition.
What the Broncos have been able to do in that third quarter is to possess the ball for over 11 minutes and get their rushing going again with Terrell Davis. Total yardage about even, but the Broncos have got the score here. You can see the time of possession here right now, but 11 minutes in that third quarter for Denver.
3rd and 9. Griese fires, caught, touchdown, Byron Chamberlain.
You gotta love what Shanahan's doing with this 3-headed Hydra tight end situation. Boy, it is amazing.
Well, Robert Brooks is inactive tonight. He's one of the wide receivers. So they're really only going with 3 wide receivers and using all 3 of their tight ends, Carswell, Clark, and that time Chamberlain for the score.
Elam for the point after. Mike Shanahan trying to make it 11-1 against the team he coached in '88 and part of '89. Up by 14, 24-10 Denver. Back in Denver at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos, if they win, they'd be 2 games back of the Raiders. And they will have beaten Oakland twice, which could become very significant. David Dunn. Not past the 35. Another good run back for Dunn, tackled up at the 41-yard line by Desmond Clark. Greasy after hitting Chamberlain for the touchdown to make it 24-10. Monday Night Football from Denver. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line for the Oakland Raiders, down by 2 touchdowns. Gannon snaking his way out of trouble and then goes down on a heap at the 39-yard line. Ma'a Tanuvasa will get credit for a sack.
Dano, you got to point out what you noticed. Only an ex-QB would notice this.
Well, this is his 19th touchdown pass of the year to Chamberlain. A perfect strike, but you know Brian Greasy's hurting. Because usually when you throw a touchdown pass, you kind of celebrate a little bit, throw your hands up in the air. He's hurting so bad, he can't even signal touchdown.
Beautiful call, my man.
It's in there.
2nd and 12 from the 39-yard line. Gannon and open and making the catch out in front is Andre Rison. He beats Buckley and then Buckley throws him down at the 10.
This is just what the Raiders needed to get back in this ballgame. A double move by Rison on the outside. Buckley thinking it's a run pass. Bites on the fake. Perfect throw by Gannon. Watch Rison. He's trying to get in the end zone here. But Buckley says, out of bounds. Knows he got beat by a little in and out move by Andre Rison. But you know that Gannon's going to take a shot there. That's Kavika Pittman. Too late, Kavika.
1st and 10 from the 11. On the fake, Gannon throws and then overthrows Andre Rison, who with that last catch went over 10,000 receiving yards in his career.
Well, they tried
49-yard pass.
And now they tried to do about the same type of thing that time. Faked Rison to come on the slant route, then back to the outside. And Gannon just threw him a horrible pass.
2nd and 10. Gruden calls the plays. He's one of the few coaches in the league that not only calls the plays, but communicates to the quarterback into Gannon's helmet. No middleman. 2nd and 10 from the 11. What protection. Great job by the line, and then Kaufman drops it.
Wow, even Gannon, who's usually a pretty buttoned-down character, just waved his hand in indignation that that ball was dropped.
Yeah, not very often we have a running back willing to catch the ball over the middle, but at times you're just going to have to make that catch. Kaufman with a flat-out drop there of a perfect pass by Gannon. This would have given the Raiders the ball inside the 5-yard line, and with Kaufman's moves, he might have got in the end zone.
Wonder what Gannon thought of it.
3rd and 10. Crowd stamping its feet in unison. Out of the end zone. Another bad pass. Brown covered by Crockett. 4th down.
Is this booth safe, man? This joint is rocking.
We have one more game to get to. I've always been very nervous here.
Wow, the whole place is shaking.
Having been in San Francisco in '89, and Dan knows the feeling.
And Gruden, he wants a touchdown. 4th down and 10, he's going to go for it. And if I'm Rich Gannon, I'm looking for my big tight end, Ricky Dudley. 6'6", huge target down here.
4th and 10, down by 14 with 11:44 to go. So if they call interference, but it's a tip ball, the interference is waved off. Traylor saying, I tipped it.
No question about it, Al. Traylor did tip this ball. There will be no pass interference. It'll be Denver ball.
It is up to an official, either the line judge or the side judge would have had the best angle to see if it was a tip. And that's what they call it.
Defensive pass interference with the ball, tip ball.
The officials in the secondary are only looking for interference. They're not looking for the tip.
Boy,
clearly tipped.
Clearly tipped, barely caught by Brown.
Yeah, he almost tipped it right into his bread basket.
Right through both hands of Traylor and then through both hands of Brown.
And Denver gets the ball back with a 14-point lead thanks to Traylor.
Now, Bino, it's so cold tonight, the junior mints are frozen into a semi-milk dud mode.
We'll be inside next week. They'll fall out from the 11-yard line. Davis. Dan, let's talk about Gruden. It's not a no-brainer call. He decided to go for the touchdown. In the years before the two-point conversion, that would have been clearly a call that you don't second-guess. In this particular case, if he goes to the field goal there, you can still tie the game with a touchdown, a two-point conversion, and a field goal.
Yeah.
So an interesting choice by Gruden.
Well, in hindsight, it doesn't look that good, and it's very deflating right now for his ball club to come away with no points at all.
2nd and 9 from the 12. Rod Smith up to the 13-yard line. You know, one guy we haven't talked about tonight, Darrell Russell, Pro Bowler, had a great start to his career. Pretty quiet for tonight, Dan.
Well, he was the #1 pick of the Raiders 4 years ago. He's got extraordinary speed for a man who weighs 320. That speed has got him 25.5 sacks so far in his career. 2 trips to Hawaii. But it's his unstoppable V8 motor that has impressed his teammates. Hey, they named him captain this year.
Ah, needs a roll-aid.
3rd down and 8. Davis. He gets taken down to 15. That's exactly what Oakland needed, a 3 and out.
Well, Russell warned us in his introduction up front. He said, I'm going to be the focus of the game plan. I think they've game planned them right off the field.
You know, the amazing thing about the Bronco offense, only 3 negative plays tonight on offense.
Meanwhile, you see the Raiders, the first half of the season, over the last 5 seasons, they've done well, and then a second half collapse, 12 and 28. And they certainly hope that doesn't happen this year, coming into this game 8-1. They're in trouble right now as Tom Ruin gets it away. Darian Gordon back at the 38-yard line. And Gordon brings it back to the 48-yard line. Helmets flying, bodies flying.
There's a human head in that helmet. No, sorry, I had a bad read. I thought I saw a head in there.
Got to find a hot receiver.
You know, I think they've got a firewall against the second half collapse this year, and it's called John Gruden. I think he'd meet him right at the gate and forbid that.
His team will take over near midfield with a lot of time left when they're down by 14. In Denver, the Denver Mint, where they mint only coins, no paper. Used to be the Denver Junior Mint, Dennis.
Wow. Look at that. It's like Trevi Fountain, baby.
From the 49-yard line, Rick Shannon throwing on 1st down. And on a slant, he gets Andre Rison. And the ball was loose, but they're ruling the play over at the 37-yard line. Gain of 14 for Rison. And the Raiders right now going without a huddle with 9:15. A lot of time, they have 2 timeouts remaining. Plus, of course, the 2-minute warning looking ahead. But without a huddle on 1st and 10, Gannon fires, caught by Brown on a slant. And just like that, they're the Denver 23.
Those slant patterns have been awful good for them tonight. Gannon getting back with the 3-step drop. And both Tim Brown and Andre Rison on the play before getting inside of Jimmy Spencer.
Now they go back to a huddle.
And you know, the good field position kind of in hindsight reinforces Gruden's decision to go down there. Go for it a little early.
From the 22 on 1st and 10. Gannon He gets tackled at the 16-yard line by Ray Crockett. It'll be 2nd and 4. It's Andre Rison's first 100-yard game since 1997. 5 catches for a $107.
Again, the Raiders are going to go with a no huddle. Gannon taking his time at the line of scrimmage, calling the play, but there's Rison on the crossing route.
Toss it back to Jordan, and he takes it to the 12-yard line. Randy Jordan will move the chains.
Amazing the way he gathered his feet under him. He almost tripped behind the line, got it together, and as some other announcer in another station says all the time, it always makes me up, got positive yardage. I love that positive yardage thing.
Got a first down, too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That's positive yardage, Don.
1st and 10 at the 12.
This boot's caving in, boys.
Gannon to Brown, and he would have scored, but he started to stumble. And he gets to the 2.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of players stumble. You wonder if the field is starting to freeze now. Tarp's been off it now for about 5 hours. Tim Brown should have scored on this play, but looked like he tripped over his own feet.
He picked up enough for the first down. 1st and goal.
Another sidearm sling by Rich Gannon.
Gannon's like Kent Jacoby with that thing.
1st and goal at the 2. Incomplete. Crockett covering Brown. Might have tipped it. I couldn't tell. Brown couldn't hold it. 2nd and goal. Closer look here.
Well, let's take a look at it because Brown's going to come out in the flat. Crockett with good reaction. No, that's just a flat drop pass. Man, you don't see Tim Brown drop a pass, and you never see him drop a pass when he's going to score.
And you never see him drop a pass after he's just tripped over his own foot.
Now out of a tight formation on 2nd down. Crockett in the backfield. He's the eye back behind Ritchie. On 2nd and goal. They give it to Crockett, who scored in the first half. And he's in there for the touchdown.
Strong stuff for Crockett. Woo. Killed a bar when he was 3. Crockett, yeah.
John Ritchie, 40, leading the way. Bo Collins as well, coming around on the linebacker Al Wilson, and Crockett scores easily.
That's a Raider. That's a Marky Van Egan run there. That's tough stuff.
2nd 1-yard touchdown run for him tonight. Conway to the point after. Lechler to hold. And the kick is good.
All right.
6.5 to go in regulation. We're headed for another one of those Monday night finishes. 24-17, Denver.
Wow. George the Animal Steel.
Ever think about electrolysis?
D.B. Cooper went down in that guy's back hair.
Denver by 7. Conway's kick. O'Neal fields it at the 5-yard line. Delta O'Neal gets taken down up at the 26-yard line. Tackle made by David Dunn. A reminder, ESPN Sports Center. All the highlights of tonight's game. Reports from around the NFL, all the day's sports news following the conclusion of the game. There's a flag down back at the 20. Larry Nemers tells us it is against the Broncos.
You know, boys, over the years, the Broncos and the Raiders have gone to overtime 7 times. Most games by any pair of teams in NFL history, and when the pump is primed for an 8th tonight, my young friend
During
Al
the
Michaels.
return, number 89, 10-yard penalty.
Called by Ernie Nevers.
Otherwise known as Larry Nemers.
Oh, sorry.
Tell you what, field position now, the Raiders, after Gruden went for it on 4th down, Raiders got good field position for that very quick 51-yard drive. It only took 3 minutes off the clock. If their defense can do another 3 and out here, Dennis, I hope I'm not boring you with all this football talk, but they're going to get good field position again.
Dan, I hang on every word. You're saying they've got good field position.
Terrell Davis, a big key in this drive here as they try to chew the clock. They'll start with a pass, though. And Gracie for McCaffrey, who holds it in and Price hit by Anthony Dorsett, and somehow, some way, hangs on and maintains possession. But an injury timeout here after a 21-yard reception.
Ball thrown high by Greasy. Great catch by McCaffrey at 6'5", and a good, clean shot by Anthony Dorsett, laying him out. Here he is right here. Watch Dorsett come over. Fingertip catch, and then the kiss.
Wow.
Dorsett.
Complete focus by McCaffrey in his own world.
And the crowd saluting him a chance of Eddie, but I'm not sure he can hear anything right now.
Yeah, you know, he got hit right on the jaw, too. Another helmet-to-helmet hit. We'll see what the league says about that one. McCaffrey's lucky he didn't break his jaw right here.
You know, sometimes that helmet-to-helmet stuff seems preordained, but sometimes it just seems to be the rub of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know,
that's a clean hit.
It is a clean hit, but the league will probably say it's an illegal hit.
And he gets up and trots off the field.
It's football. Eddie, you're a stud. Look at that.
I wish we had another angle so I could see that hit again.
Look, how much does Eddie live for this? Big catch, takes the hit, walks off. It's beautiful.
He trots off the field. There he is after his 6th catch, and what a beauty that was at the 35. Travis McGriff comes in for him from the 35-yard line. Davis cuts it back, gains 7, up to the 42-yard line.
You know, Al, my old friend Kenny Stable used to have a line for that type of hit. He would say something like, well, Ed McCaffrey's going to be on a soup diet for about a week after taking a shot like that. Of course, he'd say it with a little bit better of a Southern accent.
And Terrell Davis's mother can bring it to him.
Well, the Broncos are answering the clarion call here. Eddie McCaffrey stretching out. Terrell Davis bucking up inside. They got to close these guys out here. Don't give them the ball back.
McCaffrey is back in the game. Split to the left on 2nd and 3. And they give it to Davis, and Davis can barely get out of the backfield. Cut by William Thomas. Big tackle there. Big play coming up here. 3rd down and 2. Aerial footage tonight above Mile High Stadium with more than 75,000 looking on, provided by Southwest Airlines.
Now, Dan, when they get that quick hand up off the middle like that, and it's such a quick hitter, isn't that reverse fake by the quarterback just extraneous? Is anybody still reading that at that point?
Well, what they're trying to do is change the force on the play from safety to weak side linebacker. But you're right, it's such a quick hitter, it's very distracting.
Very important conversion here, considering the time left on 3rd and 3. Greasy throws, and it's knocked down. Great defensive play made by Elijah Alexander to knock it away from Carswell.
What a pro play by Alexander.
You got to think that the Raiders have seen enough of these slant routes right in here.
Oh.
Real close to being pass interference by Alexander. This is about 6 of these passes. This is the type of pass that Chamberlain scored on earlier.
Alexander, beautiful hands.
Tom Ruin to kick. Darian Gordon back to receive it. Big time kick. Fielded at the 11-yard line. And Gordon taken down. Good coverage by Rick Dennison's unit at the 14 after a 48-yard punt by Ruin.
And the field position thing flips now, man.
There is Rick Dennison saluting his gang with 4-11. A reminder coming up next week. It's the Washington Redskins off their bye week 6-4 against the 8-2 St. Louis Rams. Washington and St. Louis next Monday.
Hate to put any pressure on the Skins and Rams, but we demand a big game and an exciting game like we've had all year.
Yeah, I spell one next week, boys.
First down, Oakland at the 14-yard line. They have 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning from the 14. Cannon throws, caught, Risen, and Risen gets knocked down at the 23-yard line, a little shy of the first by Eric Brown.
Yeah, the Raiders had a great comeback earlier in the year, 2nd game of the season against Indianapolis. The thing that Gannon told me about it is that he was impressed at how the team didn't lose their poise at halftime. They just came out, and with Gruden's leadership and discipline, they just started making a couple of plays, got the momentum, and just took over the game and won it.
2nd and 1. Gannon sidearms it, caught. 1st down. That's Randy Jordan. They'll move the change. 1st and 10 at the 26. 3.5 to go.
Boy, Gannon is really aware of where all his chess pieces are at any given moment, isn't he, Dan?
He certainly is. He's got a great understanding of this West Coast offense of John Gruden. He fits it perfectly physically, moves around in the pocket great, makes the tough throw, but it's the mental part that we're seeing now. He knows where everybody is, as you said, Dennis.
I usually don't buy that reads progression thing, but you can really see his computer working.
1st and 10 at the 26. Gannon, chase from behind, then throws, and it's incomplete, which is a good thing as it turned out. Jeremy Brigham. The chase was put on by Kavika Pittman.
Got to call that one a coverage sack because he had sundial time back there.
Yeah, he's lucky to get it off before he was sacked. He got sacked 4 times in the first half, but here in the second half, that offensive line doing a great job. There was at least 7 seconds for him to find a receiver that time.
2nd and 10 at the 26. Three receivers putting a stack to the left. Now they break that with Dudley in motion. Gannon, a little shovel pass taken in by Randy Jordan. And Jordan gets to midfield. He's forced out of bounds at the 50.
Wow. This is what Gannon's all about. Remember, when he was drafted out of Delaware, he was drafted by the Patriots as an athlete, not as a quarterback, just as a player who could make plays like that. He saw Jordan in front of him, and Jordan's a lot faster than he is. What a huge play.
Shovel pass usually connotates something a little ugly and awkward, but that was beautiful prescience on Gannon's part.
From the 50, 1st down.
To these 75,000 fans.
There was a delay of game on the offensive team. It's a 5-yard penalty. It remains 1st down.
5,280 feet. What do you think, Dennis?
I think the home field advantage a little overrated up here myself.
Give me some of that.
Huh?
Yeah, give me some.
Yeah. I feel like Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet.
He brings that thing every week.
Here,
you better put that back on your plane
after the game.
Here, Al, have a little.
Where'd you get that? At the Bellevue Stratford? 1st and 15.
The Legionnaires reference. Beautiful, Al.
.235 remaining.
They're trying to figure out how much time went off the clock when Gannon went through with that play.
Right. I want to say 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say at least 5, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was 2:40 at the snap.
Please set the game clock to 2:41.
2:41, 6 seconds. Okay, so they'll reset it and it'll show 2:41 in the moment.
It's so difficult to play here. You're gassed already. There's just no air. And then with all this noise, for a quarterback to be shouting the cadence at the line of scrimmage, but also in the huddle, he's got to raise his voice.
You know,
very difficult.
You walk up the steps to this press box in your gas. I can't imagine 60 hard minutes on the field, what that takes out of you.
It was 10-10 at the half. Denver scored 2 touchdowns, one on the block punt, the other the Chamberlain touchdown reception to go up by 14, and the Crockett score made it 24-17. And that's where we are right now. 1st and 15 from the 45. And Gannon throws in the middle. It is caught by Ricky Dudley, who hurdles his way to the 41-yard line, a little short of the 1st down. Hurdles over John Mobley.
Beautiful fake pass out to the side, then a little center screen to the tight end.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this this year. Watch the athletic ability of Dudley. The former basketball player should have been a hurdler there at the Ohio State University with a move like that.
Like Skeets Nehemiah.
Then you saw Gannon signaling to rehuddle, which they did. 2nd and 1 now. Just prior to the 2-minute warning, the ball is given. and he takes it to the 34. And the 2-minute warning comes with 1:56 remaining in regulation. The Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining. It's another manic Monday night finish upcoming.
What a field general, Gannon, to get another play in before the warning, huh?
State capital here in Colorado. 1 mile above sea level, exactly 5,280 feet. And that's where the Raiders are trying to come from behind and tie this one up. College football prime time Saturday, but before that, Michigan against Ohio State in the afternoon at noon Eastern time. And then, of course, the big one after those games for regional coverage at 3:30 Eastern time, and then the night action featuring Florida and Florida State.
Boy, the crowd is just jumping up and down above us. The floor is vibrating.
2 timeouts remaining for Oakland. They have the ball at the 34-yard line. That 7-yard rush by Crockett on the last play, matching the longest run for the Raiders tonight in the absence of Tyrone Wheatley.
Romo's 201 games into a streak. You know, he's not gassed.
At the 34. To the 27-yard line by Tim Brown, and Gannon says come back into the huddle.
Well, you're seeing a team that really believes they're going to get the job done. This drive started on the 14-yard line, and with the help of that 24-yard pass, shovel pass to Jordan, the Raiders are right where they want to be.
Second and a long 2 from the 27. Gannon rising, can't make the catch on a slant. He'd gotten inside position on Ray Crockett and couldn't handle it. 3rd down and 2 as Rich gunned it in there.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of rare things tonight. Andre Rice, and this is 2 drops for him tonight. We've seen Tim Brown unable to hold a couple of passes. Rich Gannon now has thrown the ball 50 times for 356 yards.
It's the best of times and the worst of times for Andre Rice. And like we said, above 100 for the first time in a long time, but a couple key drops.
Oakland 2 of 12 on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and a long 2. Gannon off his back foot and then overthrows Ricky Dudley. Dudley had broken free, slanting toward the corner. Al Wilson came in and forced Gannon to throw it off his back foot, and it's 4th down.
The defense he wanted had Dudley open in the corner of the end zone, but the pressure by Wilson forced the incomplete.
Comes down to this, and Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, said, I have to take a timeout. He wanted to make sure he had the dead right personnel in the game. So Robinson from the sideline calls timeout. Join the slate tonight. In this game, it's been a wild one. Early on, after an Oakland turnover, Terrell Davis gave Denver a 7-0 lead. But back came the Raiders to take a 10-7 lead on the Crockett touchdown. Then the key play, the Ian Gold block punt, picks it up. The rookie goes in for a touchdown. 17-10. That catch made by Chamberlain made it 24-10, and the Raiders answered that, culminating this drive with a touchdown by Crockett to make it 24-17. And now it is Oakland on 4th down and 2 inside the Denver 27-yard line.
All right, Dano, you're the Hall of Famer. What do you do here? What do you do, my man?
Yeah, I like Rick Gannon on the move, and I like going to my best receiver, Tim Brown.
All right.
Split back set. Brown in motion to the inside. Gannon a tight roll, throws, they convert. As Brown makes the catch, moves the chains, 1st down, 23, saves some time by stepping out with 72 ticks left.
Ain't nothing but a party, Dano. Call, baby.
Yeah, once in a while you get it right. Greg Robinson probably knew it was coming too. He's got to come up with a call now for Denver, put them in the right defense, because the Raiders have got a hot hand right now.
That gave me goosebumps, man. That was beautiful.
Brown with 9 catches for 100 yards. From the 22.
completes it. Touchdown, Oakland. Beautiful play by the quarterback and the receiver.
Buckley fell down, and now Conway, a Raider for only 1 day, to try to tie the game. The rookie Lechler is spotted for it. And he does.
Well, can Brian Greasy be the new John Elway in this last minute and 6 and get his comeback scheme started?
He's going to have 2 timeouts to work with, but watch Gannon buying time in the pocket, seeing Brown cut to the outside. Look how wide open he is. Terrell Buckley falls down, and again, you got to question the grass up here. Look at Buckley go down. In fact, Buckley misplayed that coverage. He had help to the inside by Jenkins. He's got to stay to the outside and keep Brown sandwiched between the 2 defenders.
Yeah, it was a fait accompli before he fell down, because I think he thought Jenkins might have had outside. They both went in.
And John Gruden watching his team erase another big deficit. Remember earlier this year, on the road, they erased a 3-touchdown deficit against the Colts. Now Conway for a very important kickoff. Delp O'Neal back to receive. Keep in mind, too, the Broncos is one of the very best field goal kickers in the game, and Jason Elam, as they try to work their way into range. Kick fielded at the 10-yard line by O'Neal.
It's got a lane. No.
And out to the 34-yard line goes O'Neal, where he's tackled by Travian Smith.
I saw a lane, but it was a mirage.
Of course, Elam's got the NFL record, or a piece of it, with a 63-yarder. But he's been hurt a little bit this year. Hasn't been quite the same. His long for the year is 51 yards. So for the Broncos to get in that range, they got to get about 25 yards, maybe 30.
I think if they get like 14 yards, they're at the place where he kicked the 63-yarder from.
From the 33-yard line, first down. And they empty the backfield here, go to 5 receivers on first down. 2 timeouts for the Broncos. And the pass is caught on a slant by Smith to the 45 of Oakland.
Beautiful.
Quick drops, quick pass, slant, first down, 22-yard gain. No huddle. Again, nobody in the backfield, 5 receivers. Greasy stepping up to the 40-yard line. It's Byron Chamberlain, and Mike says we'll take our first timeout. They have 1 left. If they don't gain another yard, it would be a 53-yarder. We mentioned before the NFL record is 63 yards. First set by Tom Dempsey of the New Orleans Saints. This one of the most famous field goals ever, obviously. The club foot, the special shoe. And in New Orleans, 3 decades ago, that matched by this against Jacksonville at the end of the half on October 25th 2 years ago. 63-yarder in the thin air for Jason Elam.
Elam had some extra distance on that one, too.
He did. It was also kicked during the day, and it was a whole lot warmer.
So it is first down now for the Denver Broncos. Make it... Well, one down marker has first down, one has second down. And that's why they are blowing the whistle here, to make sure everybody is in sync. It is second down and 5.
Oakland.
And Oakland takes a timeout. They're going to change that, second and 5. Well, 2 coaches with a lot of respect for one another. Here is what Gruden said about Mike Shanahan.
I've had a great experience in my career as a coach to be around some people that I think are profound, guys that are really good, that have helped me. Mike Shanahan's a guy that I've always had great respect for and studied in the off season and tried to gain some insight into how he coaches and how he calls plays. Just haven't been able to beat him yet, and hopefully tonight's the night.
These 2 organizations hate each other, but when it comes to the coaches, there's a great deal of mutual respect.
Now, what do you mean by hate, Al?
Well, you know what I mean. Al Davis wanted Pat Bolin expelled from the league. Bolin answered with a 2-syllable word. The first syllable, which was bull. Second down and 5 from the 40-yard line. Greasy throws, and that's caught at a flag is thrown by Ed McCaffrey at the 34-yard line. Holds it in. 2 flags come in, covered by Eric Allen.
I think you're going to call Eric Allen for pass interference. That big body of Ed McCaffrey's and that fearlessness of Ed McCaffrey making that tough catch with Eric Allen interfering with him.
Mondo gutsy performance by Greasy tonight, though. Hey, Dano?
Unbelievable.
Defensive pass.
When did he get dinged? It was early,
Number
right?
21. Penalty is declined. First down.
First period, wasn't it?
It was an injury in the first quarter. Remember, he went to the locker room to get it checked out. They said it was a bruise.
Well, this is the night you make the team yours unequivocally.
Ball, great year.
Ball spotted at the 34. It would be a 51 or 52-yard attempt if they don't gain another yard. Greasy throws over the middle. They'll pick up about 9 more here. It is caught by Desmond Clark at the 25. They want to save their timeout, so Greasy's going to come up and spike the ball. Or maybe not, but he will spike it here. Maybe for the moment, I thought maybe he'd fake the spike, but they want to save that last timeout to put Elam in position to win the game after 1 more play.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 more play, maybe take 6 or 7 seconds off the clock, then kick the ball. Now, it is 3rd down and 1, so they got a decision here to make, whether they're going to go for the first down or go for the touchdown and then line up and kick the field goal on the next play.
Or kick it here, because if you have a muff snap, don't you want another play?
They go with 5 receivers. It's 3rd down and 1 from the 25-yard line. And Greasy's going to run it to a better angle for Elam as he takes it to the 23. Now they take a timeout, or they will as soon as there's only time for the kick, which there is. So right now, here comes Elam to attempt what will be a 40 or 41-yard field goal to win the game.
That was a surgical strike there, that drive. Davis is in the press box right next to us. You can see Al Davis sitting there.
You know, and to cap it all off for Brian Greasy, he's called upon to make a quarterback sneak to get Elam between the hash marks, and he's got a bad shoulder. I would have liked to have seen him call a timeout a little bit quicker, though, in case this is the muff snap.
Well, it's 4th down. It was a 4th down play. Oakland, 3-game lead. Will it be 2? This is a 41-yard attempt. The key figures here are Matt Lepsis, the snapper, Tom Ruin, the holder, and Elam will try to win the game. And the Raiders will call a timeout. Try to freeze Elam, no pun intended, with the temperature down to 11.
Not only are you freezing the kicker, you're talking about the holder and the snapper, Al, as you were mentioning. Ruin with both hands in his pouch there on one knee at the 31-yard line.
Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan, 6 years as the head coach here. If Elam kicks this, he would be 11-1 against the Raiders. Broncos, and of course they hold the tiebreaker advantage if they wind up with the same record, because they've just beaten Oakland for the 2nd time this season, 27-24 the final. It's Monday night. Denver wins it at the gun. Let's go to Eric Dickerson.
I mean, Ray Crockett, great interception and great game. How do you feel about this win?
Man, it was a great win. It was one that we needed, and we knew that down the stretch that these guys were going to be tough. They're not 8-1 for nothing. So when they came back on us, we just kept our poise, and Greasy did a great job. My hat's off to him. The guy could barely move his arm, but he drove us down. We got the field goal. It feels great right now.
It's great to win at home, isn't it?
Oh, man, it feels good to be home. Great to win.
All right, congratulations. Over to you, Melissa.
All right, Eric, Brian Greasy injures his shoulder in the first quarter. How were you able to overcome that and engineer a last-second win?
Well, this is a game that I didn't want to miss, and I ended up separating the AC joint in my shoulder, and they shot it with a needle and numbed it up, and I had to come out, and I had to be in this game.
There is so much history between these two teams. Now they're only two losses this season come to you guys. This isn't just like any other win, is it?
No, this was special for us, and we needed this if we wanted any chance of going to the playoffs, and this was a big game for us.
Well, you overcame a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Isn't that something? Separated joint in the shoulder. This is the third time in the last 4 Monday night games that the game has ended on the last play of the game. Overtime with the Jets, the Freeman miracle catch last week, and Elam booting this one through to end the game. And the winning point scored at the end of the game for the third consecutive Monday night. NFL.com, you can vote for the Pro Bowl teams, the All-Star teams, as we head to St. Louis for next week's game between the St. Louis Rams and the Washington Redskins. Coming up next on the East Coast, stay tuned for your